Hardware.
Yeah.
Hardware. It makes a difference.
Yes, indeed. I love pre-intros. Oh my God, I love pre-intros. I love the Option Podcast. I love this young lady, DEANNA Schneyer. This is episode 266. Buckle up, people. The episode starts right now. Got to give the people what they want.
Let's give it to them.
Got to give the people what they want. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is episode 266 of the Option Podcast. I am your host with the most. I'm Jason DeBias. This is DEANNA Schneyer, and this has been a long time coming.
Years.
Yes. Look, DEANNA. Sorry, let's do that again. I did that backwards. I'm Jason DeBias. That's DEANNA Schneyer.
You can be me today.
Jason, DEANNA. Jason, DEANNA.
Here I am.
Yeah, look, we're at episode 266, and I figured I paid enough dues to actually get you on.
Oh my goodness.
Do you know Ruth Nelson?
Who?
Ruth Nelson. She's
Don't know if I do.
She's the winningest college coach, University of Houston. She was back she's been coaching since the 60s, the Flo Hyman coach. And she's also the founder of BYOP, Bring Your Own Parents. Whatever, and parents that serve as ball people and all that stuff. And she's like, "How? What took so long to have me on?" And I'm like, "Dude, I can't just be rolling up to you. I gotta get some episodes in and pay some dues and such." Is the way I feel about you.
Grateful.
Nice. What does that shirt say?
It says unstoppable.
That's
the kind of that's the energy we're bringing today and hopefully every day.
She said, "What the heck you think it says, Jay?"
It says unstoppable.
We are here to talk about a lot of things, but allow me, and we're here to have a conversation. I mean, you can ask me stuff too, but allow me to get into the good part first. It would be podcast malpractice to not have this included, but not limited to the winning element. Look at the book behind you.
Ta-da.
Yeah, actually, let's do that. Does that see that book behind you? Where's that book behind you?
Oh, other way. There we go.
There we go. There it is.
And the second one.
Yes.
Hey.
I put you next to Barack Obama.
Good company.
And Hate Inc. I don't even know why I did that. There's no logic behind that. So, all right. For everyone who's been living under a rock, I'm just going to read on my piece of paper. The winning element is an online volleyball performance that platforms and that inspires you to mentally, physically, and emotionally evolve. We deliver powerful content, products, and programs and tools for athletes, parents, and coaches who are ready to elevate their game and their lives.
That sounds so official.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about what exactly the winning element is. It is something that I noticed you're doing during the club season a lot, right? Mm-hmm. And we ain't gonna name names. We already talked about all that. In DEANNA's words, what do you want people to know what the winning element is?
Well, first of all, I think a lot of people know me by different names and different faces. Right. I have a couple of different alter egos. Some people know all three. Some people have only met one of me. But in the volleyball community, I've been a player. I've been a coach. I coach littles now. I used to be a graduate assistant at the collegiate level and was like, I do not want to do this job. Lots of career confusion. We'll probably talk about it later. But
yeah,
I'm an indoor referee. I'm an international beach referee. I also do volleyball mental performance. So I wear a lot of hats, and sometimes that it's three of those in one day. So winning element has been something that I've been working on for the last 10 years. And it's been an exploration of the mental, physical, and emotional aspects of athlete development. And a lot of it had stemmed from my need to level up myself. And like a lot of us, when we grow up playing volleyball or just any other sport, we try to find ways to level up. Sometimes it's in our nutrition. Sometimes it's, I gotta be faster. I gotta jump higher. I really gotta work on my leadership, whatever it is, right? But it's all of those different skills and what the winning element is I believe that we all have different unique talents and gifts, and all of us bring our own winning element to whatever sport or whatever thing that we're exploring at the time. In this case, and for most people watching this, it's going to be in the volleyball, either indoor or beach volleyball.
I like it. Let's get that name up there. Remember the name, DEANNA Schneyer.
Can we get my name spelled right?
Did I? Yeah, but I put volleyball under
that's fine.
Behind the winning element, and I guess
my last name
has
gotten
too.
misspelled my entire life, and I could care less.
This is me. This is you. This is me. This is you. Bertolt Brecht, you rule. That's our setup.
I love it.
Yeah, and one of the things that attracted me to the winning element, because the physical we can always talk about. We can have conversations all day long and this and that, and I wanted to introduce something that is nuanced, and I as experienced as I am, I reach these things that breach expertise, and I have to just say, look, I'm not an expert but this, or just like full stop, get an expert on like you. You're gonna like this. I asked 10 different coaches, 2 indoor, 8 beach. What percentage of volleyball is mental? So one of them said 60%, one of them said 70, one guy's like, oh, like 90, or whatever. But I guess in summation, we are all gonna agree that all 10 of them said at least more than half.
Love it.
On their worst day, right? Here's my second question. How much do you implement that in practice? Crickets. When someone says and I see that language, I'm like, you ain't gotta make up nothing. Just say you don't. Just say I never thought about it. Or just say I'll get back to you, right? As a common denominator, maybe not necessarily a common denominator, do you agree with the coach's sentiment that more than half of it's mental? And how does mental play into the winning performance?
I think absolutely. I think anytime we try to assign a percentage, it's that, when we talk about mental performance in general, it really involves all 3 components of that: mental, physical, and emotional. I mean, we like to separate them because our brain loves to be able to work on each one of them. Mm-hmm. But our bodies don't work in silos. Right? Everything works synergistic, or hopefully synergistically and together. But the mental piece really brings your physical characteristics alive, right? Yeah. You can train, you can have a vert that's disgusting, right? You can train, if we're talking indoor, line. But what happens when you get blocked? What happens when you make an error? What happens when you have to be more creative on the court? What happens when maybe you didn't sleep well? Maybe you stayed up late scrolling or watching something online and you're tired. Your circadian rhythm's off. What happens when you can't stay present for all of that training that you did for the entire week, but you had too much sugar and now you're showing up to the match where it's supposed to quote, matter more, right? Or where at least it matters more to us. Or if we're on the professional circuit, I mean, money's on the line, pride's on the line, all of that stuff. Yeah. But at the youth level, like, we train so that we can compete. I think, we train 80% of the time, we compete maybe 20, right? But we put all of the emphasis on competition. It's time to shine. This is where it matters. Does it? Sometimes.
Yeah. Question of fact.
But having access to the things that you've been training, you have to have that mental resilience. You have to have, in addition to the physical resilience, you have to be able to manage your emotions through it. Are you doing that at practice? Some of us are, some of us aren't. If we're not getting uncomfortable at practice, we're probably not pushing the boundary. Yep. Amen. Yeah. I think the mental side is so big, especially right now. And, a lot of people like to say that I work in mental health, and I'm like, that's not me. No. Although I think conversations in that area are important, but anytime that we separate the mental from the emotional or the physical, I think it makes things more difficult to understand because, again, it's synergistic. You've got to have it all. And of course, for the, in my first book, The Winning Element, I separate all of those things and say, here are the core components. We're talking hydration, nutrition, movement, recovery, so that you can work on all of those and you can assess where you're at and you can make adjustments in these areas. But when it comes down to present moment, whether it's training or playing, it's all of those things wrapped together.
Right. And at some point, well, at most points, that's the coaching thing, right? And at some point, the players have to take the wheel, right? And to quote Mother Teresa, one must participate in one's own salvation, right? There comes that point,
love
right?
That, yes.
Where they say that. Tuesday, I had a Veterans Day podcast, and we talked about the value and the skill set of the drill instructor in boot camp, right? Because you have these people that are breaking you down, and you have these people that you can be your worst nightmare the first 2 weeks. But you know what happens when boot camp's over, and you know what happens when you graduate? Your parents look at you like a different way. Oh my God, he's got a haircut. He's standing up straight. He's polite to like my friends that came. There was this virtue, just all the way from making up your bed to hospital corners. You just finished the first task of the day.
Yeah.
And you get into this ritual and this routine where you shape yourself as a man, as, to quote a lean, mean fighting machine, but like, in my opinion, basic fundamental things that don't hurt your quality of life, sanctity of life, and how you approach people.
That discipline is key.
And everybody should have that.
That discipline is key.
Yeah.
Whether we're talking the men and women who are out there fighting for freedom or something like that, right? Whatever that means for each individual person.
Because we're getting back to the mental, and it sounds like I'm moving away from it, and I'm not, because physically we don't need boot camp to do that physically.
Well, I think the mental fortitude comes with the physical discipline,
which
right?
is taught by the drill instructors. They have a skill. These aren't just guys that are just yelling. I never appreciated the genius of how someone, in their mind sees this like sack of potatoes, like, I'm going to make you a man.
Okay, Mulan.
Right? He's a man. How's that song go? Yeah.
I'll make a man out of you.
Yes, but listen, the way he was talking in the verses, does that not sound like what you think what a drill instructor is? Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 5'9". Didn't know they stack crap that high. You trying to squeeze an inch on me, boy, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, and everyone thinks it's physical because you come out physical. You're standing different and this and that. But without the mental, without finding a way to squeeze someone's head where some would fold, but they find a way to make you focus. That's genius. And what is the comparison of a drill instructor to what we're talking about in the coaching and winning element? Not a whole lot, but the things where it counts. You know what I mean?
I do. You know what? This makes me think of, when we talk about like drill instructor, I think that there's a lot of different coaches out there, right? You have coaches that their specialty is strategy.
Right.
You've got coaches out there where they're really, really good at technique or training technique. And then you have coaches that are an expert at building culture or building a program or having a hierarchy and having a shared goal and rallying everyone around that shared goal. And then you've got coaches who grind and who help to create that grit. And, as a coach, you might be good at all of them. Most of us aren't. Some of us have, and we typically live where with the skills that we like and where we feel like we're providing the most value. And as a coach, a lot of times we're expanding, well, hopefully, right? I think we go through cycles of it. Sometimes like life gets hard and, coaching's our second, third, fourth job for some people.
Yeah.
And they don't get to that level of, I need to develop this skill. And then you have coaches at a higher level or even coaches that are continuously developing themselves, or they're hiring to fill those gaps to have a more well-rounded coaching staff and coaching team. And I think the role of a drill instructor or, quote, quote, drill instructor, I think that that's incredibly valuable, especially when if we're talking about young women. It's a sensitive subject, right? Because we want athletes to fall in love with this sport. and we want them to feel good about it too. But we also need to challenge them. And I think that finding that threshold is something that's, it's nuanced and it's difficult to do. But I think that there's value in that. I know a lot of coaches that I don't know if I would want to play for them, because that's, as a player, like, that's not my style. I mean, it's effective and I can get on board with it, but I don't want that. Right. And I see all the time, I'm an indoor official, so I get exposure to so many wonderful coaches, and a lot of things that I write about and we'll start doing a lot more content on soon is what I witness at the youth level. Different things that coaches are saying to athletes, body language with athletes. It's really interesting. And me as a person, I try to sit in this like non-judgmental place where I trust that somebody has a good intention, or that their intentions are pure, but might not see the bigger picture. Right. Or I also have this perspective that everything is always helping us, right? It might not seem like it at the time, but I feel like God, universe, whatever whatever makes you feel best about it, everybody has their individual thing. But I think that we have these experiences to help us evolve. Right. And sometimes those tough coaches that, subjectively, when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh my God, this is not good. This is
and sometimes you're right.
And other times I'm like, maybe
right.
This is exactly what they need. This is exactly the experience that this athlete needs to evolve or even like change, or even advocate for themselves, right? So I find myself when I'm on the stand, if I'm not present in the match, I can find myself seeing both sides of being like, okay, I can see how this can be helpful. And at the same time, I'm like, ooh, I feel like there might be a better way to communicate that to a 9-year-old girl. Right. I don't think we should be blaming the entire loss.
I think some coaches should, honestly,
I mean?
I think some coaches, when they get to that point, they should just quit. And not quit permanently. Some of them shouldn't quit. Some of them just take time off, hit the reset button, come back at it from a different angle. I've been coaching for 26 years. I did that. I quit. And in fact, I don't mean to name names, but Evolution last year, I told Duncan, I said, look, you while you still got a culture, and while I did my job hooking them where they're obsessed, where they can't wait to come to practice, still 100% turnout, even though I was a little bit mean and I'm a little bit Brooklyn strict. I'm like, I'm leaving you in a good place, but it's going to get worse and I got to leave because I got to work on me, or all this work that we put together gets worse. And Duncan was like, do what you got to do.
I think that self-awareness is incredible for coaches.
That was last year. Yeah. And Duncan's like, look, the only thing I regret is I wish that like the parents of some of the people saw you through the same lens that I do. And you do, right? You see me through that lens, right? Well, the reason why I brought up the comparison with the drill sergeants and the coaches is because the drill sergeant's function is to succeed where your parents failed you, right? If parents raise them to make their kid and say sir and ma'am and all that stuff, those are the guys that go through boot camp a little easier and they're easy to diagnose, right? Now, where there's a complete contrast, and this is where winning element comes into play, the sample size of having someone in your face for like 8.5 weeks, or if you're in the infantry, it's 13 weeks because your boot camp and your advanced individual training are together, right? Like I did 8 weeks and then 16 weeks for generators, power generators, diesel generators, and electronic maintenance. But a coach doesn't have that time with you. Coach has a 2-hour practice twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. Yeah. And this is where I'm spinning to the whole element thing, right? Because as a team, and the things they need to do to make a team are one thing, but the time that you have to spend on some people individually, the coach doesn't have the time frame and sometimes not even the bandwidth to do that. And is this where you think the winning element comes into play? And
absolutely.
It seems like succeeding.
It seems to be
That's
working really well.
Long way to shape my question.
No, I love it. Okay. I think the way that I want to go about this is I think that one of the things when we talk about mental performance or the combination of all three of those things, I cannot get inside your mind, make tweaks, and make you think, feel. I mean, I can try, right? But for the most part, I can't get into a kid's mind and tinker with it and get it to be how I think it should be, or make those adjustments. Part of mental performance is knowing that you are the only one who can do it. You're the only one who can save you. You are the only one who can develop this. And it takes a lot of self-responsibility. And I think building this in at an early age is super important, right? When we talk about, we only have 2 hours with a team, right? And typically if you've got like a 14 and under team, you're anywhere between 9 and 12 athletes. If you're a 15 and over team, you're probably sitting between 12 and 15. 12 and 15, yep. Right? Only 6 people can play at the same time, right? And although we want to play 6-on-6 in practice, developing a team, and a coach is developing athletes, developing a team, trying to get everybody behind a strategy, a winning strategy, trying to form an offense, trying to teach offense and defense, trying to get everybody on the same page so that we can move together offensively, defensively. That's a lot for a 2-hour time frame to develop 15, we'll just call it 12 to be generous.
Right.
12 girls mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, there's a lot to pay attention to when the emphasis is then on, okay, now we got to go play at this tournament, which means we have to play together. And then I need to know what my substitution options are. I need to understand what the landscape is. I need to understand what each girl is quote, quote, capable of, or how I can use those pieces. If we're talking about, strategic stuff, I need to know how to use those. When it comes to the mental stuff and developing ourselves, just in even leadership, right? A lot of it needs to be self-directed. And I think a lot of what I do and where that comes in is filling in that gap. If you're practicing, let's be really generous. Athletes are practicing 2 hours a day. It's like 8% of your day.
Probably
8.
Yeah.
I've done the math a couple of times because I've needed to.
Your sample size assumes the amount of sleep too. So
right?
Okay.
8% of your day that's all. And a lot of times we feel like, oh, I'm dedicating my life to volleyball.
No, you're not.
Okay. I feel that way too. But the reality of the time commitment, if we're talking about on-court training, whatever,
right.
We're talking about 8% of your day. Do we want to maximize the 8% or do we want to optimize the other 92% that is shaping how we show up for that 8%?
Right.
And part of my learnings from being an athlete and I actually talked to my dad this morning about this. So it's really fun for me because, cut from the same cloth. I'm a hard worker. I work my tail off. I will outwork a lot of people.
That's why I like
my tolerance for work and discipline is sky high. Thanks, Dad. Right?
Yeah.
But I've also burned out. I've also fell on my face. I've also had a lot of injuries.
All right.
I've also gotten hit by a car while I was running. Yeah. I've also had traumatic trampoline accidents with my ankles where I couldn't run for 10 years.
I love trampolines.
Me too. Backflips, miss you. I'm not even kidding. I love backflips. Much easier than front flips. Lots of fun.
Backflips are cool too.
Right? And with that, a lot of what I've had to learn is, you can work hard, you can work hard, you can work hard. But at some point, you either have to sleep, you either get injured, or you burn out. And you can only burn that flame for so long before you need to switch your strategy.
Right.
And one of the things that I've had to learn is how to work smarter. And I've had to relearn over and over and over. And I haven't talked publicly about this, so it's going to be really fun. But
before you go on, winning element is individual training, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I do it with teams too.
But I want you to lose your thought. No.
Yeah.
I do that all the time to my guests, dude.
No, we'll go over that.
Okay.
When I first wrote this book, the initial book, The Winning Element, An Athlete's Guide to Maximizing Mental and Physical Performance, longest title. When I first wrote that, I think it took me 9 months, maybe 9 months to write it, 5 months to edit, another 3 months to go through the design process. I cut half that book. Like, that book should have been 2 times the size.
It should have looked like the King James Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Right. And of course, like, that, it was my first book. It was my first time writing that much. And when I talked to the editor, she's like, you need to cut half of this book. And I at first I was like, what do you mean cut half of the book?
Yeah, because you're like, what do I cut that's not important?
What do you
think
mean?
That's not important?
What do you mean? I've been working on this, right?
Yeah.
And then I sat on it. I did a meditation, sat on it. And that night when I went to go edit, I was like, F this, F this, F this. This can go, this can go, this can go, this can go. You're right. Trim the fat. Let's go. We're making this slim. We're making this impactful. F it. We're doing it.
Yep.
Who cares? Whatever. But the ending to that story, at least, when I was done writing this book, I was so exhausted. And I was reffing too at the same time. This was when I first started reffing. So I would write for 8 to 12 hours a day. So I would like wake up, work out, or at that time I was waking up, writing, or trying to writing, work out, reffing. On the weekends.
Reffing alone is just like...
It's a full-time job. And most people don't...
No, but leave it when you're done reffing. Man, there's a crash. Hold on, I'm going to get my tech person to turn on the AC, but go ahead.
The crash of reffing is real. But after I wrote this book, I couldn't write an email for like 6 months. And I remember too, and it was early in my entrepreneurial journey. And I fell on my face. I didn't have enough energy to promote the book and go sell the book after I wrote the book.
Right.
Shortly after COVID happened. But I had grinded so hard.
Did it feel like a wasted time?
No, not at all.
Good.
And that underlining sense of, and like I've that like the God magic or like the whisper where and like those things that anytime, especially early in mental performance, I've been doing this since the first time that and I'm sure we'll get into like origin story because it's fun, but 2014 was when I first started working on and had the idea and wanted to do it. Took me 2 years of like planning and being like, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? Oh, let me think about frameworks. Oh, whatever. Right. 2016 is when I like made it official. 2019 is when that book came out. 2019 is also when I had the huge burnout and I started questioning, was this worth it? Why did all these signs point to do this just for that to happen?
But you can't tell me there wasn't an element of fear that you wasted your time.
Maybe not wasted my time. I think I'm always okay with developing myself.
So there was a win.
Yeah, there was 100%.
Okay.
I think, again, like I feel like everything is a catalyst for evolution, right? And you can pick your arena. Right? A lot of us choose volleyball or sport or whatever job we're doing. And those things are catalysts for our evolution. For me at this time, reffing, because I was reffing so much, and writing this book were definitely an evolution for me, mentally, physically, emotionally, and trying to communicate ideas. And the framework that I created within that first book, The Winning Element, like I didn't steal that from anywhere. I didn't borrow it. I didn't see something that was like it. I completely came up with it by myself. And to go in deeper for the listeners, I have an assessment in there. And in that assessment, there's 8 different categories. I feel when I first wrote the book, there was 8 core skills, 4 of them mental, 4 of them physical.
Right. On
the physical side, hydration, nutrition, movement, recovery. I've since changed that a little bit, but for the purposes of this, I'll just go with that. On the mental side, confidence, energy management, visualization, and self-talk, I just kind of put into one, and then resilience. And the framework that I created within that first book was being able to look at each of those different areas, and I created an assessment. So on a scale of 1 to 5, and there was 10 questions in each of those categories that athletes could go in and see, where are they? And if they gave truthful and honest answers, it would normally be a reflection of where are their strengths, where are their weaknesses, and what do we need to do for them to level up, right? And that's going to look very different for each person, right? And so in that first book, I created that really cool framework. And I was like, this is it. This is so exciting. This is so new. No one's ever done this before. I don't think anybody has. And I think that this
is very original. I mean,
It is. It's really cool.
Foundationally, but sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. And so I was really excited when I was like, oh my God, I've got it. I've got this really cool framework. Oh my God, this is going to make sense for 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds. The reason why I started doing what I was doing, and for me, I played Division I volleyball.
Where?
University of Texas Pan American. It is now called the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. Division I, we've changed conferences several times.
I'm sure.
They're now the Vaqueros. Still Bronx here for me.
What position?
Middle, duh.
Okay.
Duh, come on. What other position am I playing? Middle for life.
She's sitting like a regular person, but when she gets up, she stands tall. Again.
Yeah. So in that, played volleyball for my 4 years. I had 4 losing seasons, which is really fun, right? Because you go from, and a lot of these athletes that get recruited to play Division I, they're all from these winning schools, right? Oh, they're from these winning programs. They're great athletes. Now they're going on to Division I. And Division I has, I don't know how many teams in it now, but it's, at least 350 teams in there. And there's definitely categories and tiers to Division I. All right. You've got Nebraska and you've got Nebraska. You've
got Long Island University or
you've
something.
Got, You've got that 1 to 80. You've got that 80 to 120.
I mean, with women's indoor, there's probably like 5 tiers because
that sounds about right.
It's not like men, right? Like every college, even every community college, every college that has a sports team. That has any sports team is going to have a women's volleyball team.
Hell yeah.
Period. I'm watching the CUNYs tonight. The City University is Division III because I'm in New York. John Jay is playing Brooklyn, and for like 15 straight years, it's been Hunter and Baruch. And the last 2 years, John Jay, I left them in pretty good shape. I was there as an interim, and their first winning season, their first home playoff games. So I did a couple of first, and then some really good coaches. There's some awfully good coaches in New York. So now tonight at 3:30 our time, they're going to play them. I'm going to watch that after this, but. It's so unique that
there's
tiers.
So many tiers.
Like look, the winner, the whoever wins that will not hold a candle to whoever's going to win the CIFs tomorrow, right? One of my players, Kalyani, is doing the darn thing at Sierra Canyon.
Yeah, she is.
And I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna watch that. She's my player.
If I didn't have a match,
she's my player. Yeah,
I would have loved to. I got nominated to work CIF, the championships. I'm not sure which division I would have been chosen for. Yep. But I had collegiate matches, so I wasn't able to work those matches. But it's always really fun to see. I
got a reason to go too, though, right? Like, we were talking about physical, we're talking about mental, we're talking about time away from the court. Like, the program director, Jason Olive, gives me a ton of credit for. You're working on this girl who she can play, but she didn't really want it. It was just something that she did because she has an activity.
She has a nasty line shot. Yeah. I've seen her hit girls on the face.
Yeah, but she's horseback riding. She's doing all these things. But now volleyball, when you, I think Jason and I might even install the virus. No known cure, no vaccine for it. She's infected, and it's very tough to join a team like that late. And you have the starting 7 that all got Division I scholarships, and telling them one of them got to sit, And I'm happy because, and this is connected, but I'm happy they went that way because we both know, because before we got on this podcast, the best people are the best. Whoever does it best doesn't always get to do it, right? Mm-hmm. She would have deserved it, but she had a coaching staff that could have went another way, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. We had a conversation about the best refs. We had a conversation about the best commentators, about the best announcers. Don't even get me started, right? We ain't talking about that right now. But I'm just glad that someone was so undeniably good that it really forced their hand. It's like, do you want to win or what? That's your way of winning. Because I'll tell you this. You're talking about line shots. That line shot probably happened when it was 23 up. She's at the service line. She got an ace. That ace happened when they have set point and they needed it. She's at the net. You know what I'm saying? She shuts down their best middle at 13 up game 5.
Love it.
She's not the best skill player. She's not the highest jumper. She's not even the tallest. The average height. She's 6'1" is the average height.
I was about to say, I think the average on that team is they're 6'1" trees.
But I guess I'm sound like I'm promoting her, but and that's fine too. She just wins. So there's just some people that just wins, and nobody can tell me that's physical. That is training someone's mind, or someone just has that before you even touch them, right? Right? Because as
if
a coach,
get lucky,
as a coach, right? Look, sometimes we got to stay out of the way. Sometimes Fair. You're like, all Absolutely. Right, you got this. Sweet.
Good,
if someone gives me a credit for jumping in front of the parade on this one, maybe I'll take that, or maybe I'll just give her the rub. But a lot of that she had, but the sustainability to do it every time. I haven't seen her fail in that situation. Not yet, not once. So we knew she could do it, but her ability to do it every time like it's a normal day, that's mental.
Heck yeah, I love that.
That's mental. And I don't mean to spin this way because I my genius, I think I'm circling back to the mental.
No, we're right there. No, absolutely.
But it's wild. It's different tiers. The CUNY championships are tomorrow. The CIFs are Saturday, or the CUNYs are tonight. And both places are going to be jam-packed. Both places are going to have a trailload of fans that are emotionally invested. And both of them are probably going to have a game 3 that's going to decide game 4. Whoever wins game 3 is pretty.
There's such good volleyball going on right now.
Yeah, it's like a college match tomorrow. That's what it's going to look like.
I wish I could be there.
Yeah,
I'll probably see the highlights.
Hawaii's got talent too. Like I called the Hawaiian Festival the finals.
Yeah,
the fit for Hawaii Next Level, their club team. The 15s played the 16s for the 18s finals. It was just sick. They have superpowers. Have you ever been to Hawaii? Have you seen Hawaii play a home game in all of those sports? Men's indoor, women's indoor, women's beach. They have their Michael Jackson and your Tito. Okay? I don't understand how they do it. You know?
It's been on my list of things that I've wanted to experience. I've heard about it.
They might be looking for refs.
Guaranteed, those are assigned, and we trust our assigners to put the right people in the right places at the right times.
It's the same time as the Hall of Fame too. You got to come through next year. The Hawaii at the Outriggers Canoe Club, they do the Hall of Fame induction like
November,
the weekend after. No, it's in June.
June. Okay, I think I'm going to be there because I will be. I am going to be officiating at the Hawaiian Festival again. So,
let's go.
Oh yes, I will be there again.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, so you weren't there?
Oh yeah, I was there. Remember? Come on. I know I had my orange glasses, my other alter ego.
I'm just turning the camera off of me. I should have just said that. There you go. I don't deserve to be seen. We going all you.
The orange glasses. That's how people know me as a referee, and they're like, "Oh my God, her hair is down. Crazy." Yeah. Who is this person? We've never seen her before. I'll put my hair in a pony, and they'll be like, "Oh, I have seen her."
And why is she always freaking smiling?
Because I genuinely enjoy life.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. So let's explore a little bit more of the mental, right?
Okay, let's do it.
Now, you're going to love this.
Yeah.
There are going to be some situations, and I described the situation already. So many times as a referee and so many times as a coach, you've seen players who are just dominating, but when the game's tight, they have a default shot that they go to, they think that works. And sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't, right? And I'm talking about when it counts. Everybody's like, oh, like this didn't determine the game. The beginning and the middle determining. No. It's 23 up. Right?
It's big moments.
And
They're
both
big
teams made
moments,
mistakes, and either you got it or you don't. I'm a Bill Parcells guy. Either you're good enough or you're not. Sorry. You are what your record says you are. So tensions are high. Butt cheeks get tight. All right? And this outside hitter, who everyone knows it's going to, can go with what she's comfortable with, and which more often than not in juniors is hitting position 6. And we all know what happens at position 6. It gets blocked or touch blocked, right? Or never makes it over the tape, hits the net. If it gets past the block, goes straight to position 6 or goes long. None of those things are successful outcomes. And when it goes long, they're begging the ref for a touch. They're begging DEANNA. She's right here. And she's just like, didn't see it, can't call it. Can only call it what I see. Sorry.
I like it.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm a ref. I can only call what I see. I can't be out there guessing. Mm-hmm. Or whatever the player identifies with that works is something that she's trained physically And when she's trained physically, something in practice happens mentally where maybe let's just call it position 5 and 4. Sharp cross court, right? She knows it's out of system. She knows she has a two or three person block. She needs a shot that she believes had success, right or wrong. And worst case scenario, that gets blocked, but it gets covered. Best case scenario, hits off the block, goes out, but on your side, out of bounds. They can't touch it, right? But do you understand the number of winning scenarios and just changing that up? So how do you guys do that at Winning Element? How do you get girls to, and I know it's a lot of vision to visualization. So,
yeah.
And I'm talking a lot, but I wanted to give you the floor because I think I shaped my question the right way. And I see your wheels turning.
I'm going through a couple of different scenarios here, and I love talking strategic volleyball, and I'm like, yes, I'm invested. I love it.
Yep.
I think there's a couple of big things here, and I think it touches on 5 of the things that I think make volleyball players unstoppable. Mm-hmm. Which is like the second book, but it plays into this conversation, so we'll go with it. So I think our ability to recover from errors, because we play a game of errors, is incredibly important. Training that and being able to trust your teammates to cover when you're taking that big shot, you have to train it so that you can trust it.
Yep.
And if you're sitting at the end of, you're sitting in a CIF final and you've done it over and over and over. You've trained it. Let her rip, baby. Let's go, right? Yep. Your ability to recover from errors, incredibly important. Let's say it's 23-23 and you do take a big shot, gets blocked, whatever, right? Being able to come back and swing again, harder, more strategic, maybe do something else, call a different set, run a different tempo, something else. The ability to have the mental fortitude to be able to get up there and do it again, or, switch it up, hopefully, which speaks to one of the second things, or one of the 5, is going to be being able to be creative and adaptive on the court, right? We train for different skills, but we play a creative sport. We play one of the most dynamic sports that's out there. And the
ultimate team game, but yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You've got 6 people on both sides. You're constantly rotating. There's subs going in and out on both sides. Although we have a lot of patterns in volleyball, you never see the same thing twice. I mean, yes, we got patterns, but the exact position at the right time with all of those other factors and variables the same. Yeah, right. No.
Yeah.
So the ability to be creative and adapt, right? The ability, and this is where like good coaching comes in, and especially at the higher levels, good coaching. So, we have data for that, and our highest probability is for you to swing X, Y, and Z. And nothing comes close to your ability to have the intuition to feel the moment.
Yeah.
And to choose your shot. To make that micro adjustment. To be confident, right? Recovering from errors, being creative on the court. Also, we've got emotional agility. This is one of the biggest things, and I think this is one of the hardest areas, especially now, and it's something that it takes time. The ability to be emotionally agile and use any emotion for fuel in the moment, especially in those moments with the booty cheeks, those to be emotionally agile.
Is that the one? You
got the booty cheeks, right? For sure. Somebody called it the Nacho Libre the other day.
Come on.
Somebody called it that.
Jeez, but freaking Californians, man.
Right? But the ability to, you're under immense amount of pressure. If we're 23, you're an immense amount of pressure. Game's on the line. Parents are watching. Everything is streaming. The moment comes down to you. Are you going to rise? Are you going to be confident? Have you felt that pressure before? Have we trained it? Right? And a lot of mental performance and physical blah, blah, blah. It all comes down to, did you train it? Did you run through, did you rehearse it, whether it was physically or mentally? Mm-hmm. Have you been in this spot so that you can shine when it matters most? One of the other pieces of this is playing in the present. You can train all of these things, but if you can't lock in with your teammates if you're not able, if you have that, and I always talk about it as it's like the Homer Simpson going into the hedges, right? Because sometimes it feels like that. Anxiety, stress, pressure sometimes feel like that, where you're like, uh-oh, the outsides are blurring. Oh no, it's happening, right? And being able to say, no, whoa, no. One of the things and the tools that I give athletes is, if you're feeling anxiety or if you're feeling stress in your body, you can get out of it by using your mind. If you're feeling it mentally, you can get back into your body. Right. So that, and because we want to bring back presence. So I think, and the other piece is whatever your winning element is. It could be physical, it could be mental, it could be emotional, right? We all have that thing that we do better than anyone else.
Yeah.
And when we're in a scenario when it's 23-23 and it's game time, have you trained it so that you can trust it when it matters most? And part of that is understanding that, you have to be in those big moments because there are going to be more big moments.
That's not going to be the last one.
Exactly. And, it's not a one and done. And
if you're in a CIF finals, it's not the first time. It wasn't the first one either, right? So got you.
And to talk through, as I'm talking about this, I'm thinking the levels and layers. A 12-year-old's first match, that's a big match for her.
All right.
Or at the end of the year, or maybe it's a qualifier. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a match that just means a lot to an individual athlete. Right. For whatever reason, grandma came.
Okay.
Grandma came to watch.
My wife, it was her father.
It's a big moment for them. And being able to know that those big moments, however you categorize them, they're going to happen. How do you prepare for that? Right? How it comes.
Isn't it wild?
How do you prepare for that? It's
Dude, all right, my wife.
We hit line. Okay.
Dude, my wife was a ridiculously good tennis player, right? But whenever the father showed up, or my father, as far as I'm concerned, George, he can show up and look at her, or he can just show up and look away. And when he's looking away, and she sees him and he's looking away, it's something. And when he's looking at her, doesn't even say anything, it's something. It's just it's one of those things. It's one of those things where the players just have to ignore, right? Like, we both know Natalie Muskowski.
Absolutely.
Just finished her grad year at UCLA. Like, her mom is a super mom. And by the way, she's like my PINP mom. She's when I coach at Endless Summer, she's the one that said, hey, you don't know this guy. And
she's a lovely woman.
Yeah. Well, everyone's skeptical when they see a new person, but they're like, you don't know this guy. Just because you see where he's standing doesn't mean you know how he got here. And so she's the one that kept like all the other moms in line until I built my brand. And then now all the moms love me.
Baby.
But it was because of her. But I think the point I was trying to make is, she can't. It took years to not look over there and try to think what mom is thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the father don't even sit next to the mom. He just goes way over there and just kind of, and he's one of those people that blends in the crowd, right? Like you and me don't. I'm gonna see you.
Yeah, definitely not.
In the middle of a New York City street where all these people walking during rush hour, I'm identification, DEANNA Schneyer,
Yeah.
Like stock number 1444456, But yeah, I appreciate that because that's just an example of just understanding the conditions and treating those conditions like it's a normal day.
Yeah.
And
we can't do it unless we're training it.
Yeah.
And you don't know that you need to train it until you know that you need to train it, or until we bring awareness to it, right?
But there are times to have that conversation when you train it, and there's a time to have that conversation when the training comes into real time, and to have a conversation of the positive and negative results of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And this is where coaches really need to just continue to dialogue with each other. The long-time coaches, right? The long-time coaches succeed because they know it's a lifelong learning experience. They're going to learn from someone that never even played the game, right? But some of the coaches in the middle, maybe you got a lot to prove or whatever. Humble yourself for a few minutes, dialogue with people. Then you can go back to the chip on your shoulder. But take these time frames and listen.
I don't know about you. I've been coaching, playing for over 20 years.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure.
I learn something
as far
new
as I've known you,
every week.
Mm-hmm.
I learn something new every week, whether it's on the sand, whether it's indoor, whether it's about leadership, whether it can be anything. I learn something different
Right.
I'm an adjunct professor at Fullerton College, and I'm a professor of volleyball. So I teach the indoor class and I teach the beach class. I don't coach there. I teach the class for general population.
There you go.
And it's so cool.
Where is this again, sorry?
Fullerton College.
Oh, Fullerton, yeah.
Yeah, Fullerton College. It's great. They have a great volleyball community. I mean, these kids audit this class because you can only take the class once. They audit the class. I have some students who have been there for the entire time that I've been there, which is like 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
They continue to come back. Even I have 30-year-olds. And this class, it can have 17-year-olds, and I've had 72-year-olds.
That's college.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
It's so cool.
It's inclusive.
But they're obsessed with volleyball. And I learn new things from them, and they're not competing at a high level. I ask them questions. I'm like, why did you choose that? What are you thinking right now?
Right.
Why did you choose this over this? Or whatever the conversation is. I learn from them, and they're not even in our space as coaches.
I'd like to give you an example of where I think there's a value of having a conversation of a conversation of a player, presenting a player their options. I'm going to give you one first, right?
Love it.
Beach game. Let's just call it a beach game or an indoor game, right? Ball goes off the digger, right? It's out of system. Person takes 1 or 2 steps, they stop, right? You as a coach felt like, they could have kept going. You didn't even try. In our minds, we're thinking they didn't even try, right? It is our impulse to think that, right? But the more experience you have, the more that mentally going comes into play, right? Like, what if she could go, but what if she can't, right?
Yeah.
So
she broke her toenail, whatever it is.
Not even physical. There's something mentally stopping her from going. It's in the air. She's watching. It's in the air. She's watching. It's in the air. She's freaking watching, right? And it drops. So here's an example. I'll come up to them and I'll say it in the way that everybody can hear, but for women's volleyball and girls, you can't do it in the way that'll vilify her.
Absolutely.
That will make the rest of the team and abandon them. Listen, guys, where is it? Women's volleyball, sisterhood. Men, kick them in the butt, they'll find a leader. That's how it works.
Absolutely, I agree.
So I said, what's the probability that you would have touched that ball if you went? And I said, just give me a number. 50%, 60%. Right. She's like, I'll go 50. And I'm like, how about you? Yeah. What do you think? She's like, oh, she's a hater shell. More like 20, right? 20. Oh man, you cold. 60. That's your friend, right? 60, 50, 50, right? I said, here's my second question. What is the percentage of getting it if you don't go at all? And they're like, 0. And I might be a cold-fish and say, play a effing possibilities, play. Or I could be like, let's do it. So even if you mentally can't go late a whole second later, hit the ground a whole second after the ball hits the ground. It's going to look embarrassing, but ain't nobody watching it. This is practice, right? You don't feel ashamed. Ain't nobody here but me and your sisters, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be your daddy, but, right. Who your daddy is, right? But, so that would be an example of me, having a conversation with a player presenting their options. Your wheels are turning the entire time. Do you have one, or I was just curious?
I was wondering which way you were going to go. I didn't know if you were going to present options or even ask a question to see.
Let's spin that. Let's go that route. Is there a
reason?
I think I covered it all with options.
I had something happen last night. I'm coaching a 12-year-old team. I typically coach our youngest team at Pro Play. I coach at Pro Play Volleyball Club. We're in Orange. Incredible. We are the largest club in Orange County. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows, but we know. We've got 42 teams. We're a really, really big club. I coach the 11-year-olds. I run our volleyball mental performance program. So I coach the littles because I love it, number one. Number two, I really enjoy being an athlete's first coach to help them fall in love with the sport. And I think that my coaching style, and I have fun. Honestly, I have so much fun with these girls. And then the 15, everybody else, all our travel teams, I do the volleyball mental performance. We just started. We didn't have a full team for 11, so I have like an 11-12 mix. So I have some of our youngest, and they're great. I'm pumped about them. But we had one girl last night. and I've had 2 practices with her, so I don't know her tendencies yet. I'm still like learning a lot about my athletes, how they're moving and how they're not moving, because we're definitely in need of some physical training and getting more comfortables in our body.
Right.
Being athletic in our bodies, of course. You're 12, you're 11 years old.
Right.
Of course, right? And I had this girl last night who the way that she was stepping, like it's just narrow base, sometimes feet crossed, trying to pass balls. And I'm like, hey, we just talked about it. Wide base. Shoulders over
What's
this.
with the salsa dance? Girl?
Yeah. And I looked at her shoes too, and her shoes were not tied at all. Like she was doing Fred Flintstone feet, and just athletically, she wasn't moving well. And then I looked down and I saw her shoes, and they weren't tied. And so I was like, "Girl, let me see your
feet crossed.
I said, "Girl, let me see your let me see your." And they were tied, but there was so much room in there, and I was just chatting with her about movement and stuff, and I was like, "Let me tie your shoes." Go to tie her shoe. And I find out that she split her toenail earlier that day.
Oh, God.
So it's really painful for her to move.
I'd be crossing my legs too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I didn't know because I didn't. So here I am, like, inviting her to pass that ball and to move more athletically and to get in a better position and do these things, without knowing that the reason why she's not moving well is because she has a physical limitation that she failed to communicate, but that I didn't understand. And so had I written that off, I might have, or had a coach written that off, I might think she's lazy. Right. Oh, she doesn't want to go for the ball.
Right.
I would have made up all of these stories, which are really funny. We could talk about stories, but we make up these stories as coaches, as referees, as humans, right? We make up these stories so that we can try to make sense of something, because our brain does not like uncertainty, and we have to have a reason for the things so that we can go about our day and make things make sense, even if it's not true, right? But
it doesn't matter if it's true or not. Honestly.
No, beliefs don't have to be true. They just have to be useful,
right?
That's true.
Sorry,
at least for me, right? Like, yeah. At least in my mind, right?
Yeah.
And so if a different coach might have, or even if she didn't even tell me, right? I could have just gone and worked with, like, oh, she's not working hard enough. I'm going to go spend time with these other athletes, right?
Right.
Wow, what a disservice.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, right? So a lot of times as coaches, we're making assumptions about our players physically, mentally, emotionally, where they're at. We're forming who they are in our brains based on 2 hours a week, maybe.
Yeah.
And I mean,
no, that's a great
some of them
example.
are right. I mean, some of the assumptions that we make are correct.
But what if they aren't?
But what if they aren't, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if we assign a label like lazy to an athlete, and then we decide, oh, they don't want to be here, right? And then we don't invest in them. What?
Right. I mean,
we got to really look at that.
The example I gave you, like, what if she doesn't really know how to dive, right? Like, remember I was saying there was a mental thing that was stopping her from going? She doesn't want to get hurt, so mentally she ain't going to go at all, right?
Or maybe she had a teammate that just got hurt the night before and you have no idea about it. And her team,
we're going to roll them off,
right? Like, whatever the
right.
reasons are, right? And the reality is, when it comes down to wins, losses in this game, like, reasons don't matter. But context is kind of important if we're going to shape how we develop athletes and also how we treat them.
Right.
Right.
Levels, man. I mean, it doesn't matter at certain levels, right? We're talking about juniors right now. We're talking about 9 years old. We're like, teaching rotation is God's work. Okay. That's for the ones that teach that are teaching 9 and 10's rotation. I appreciate you. It's God's work. And I have a separate video where I cut off cardboard boxes halves. I put the position on it. And what I do is I put the positions on the court. So we do 6 rotations with a serving team, and they basically just find their position and they run behind the box.
That's
and
awesome.
We do that. So, I mean, yeah, and it's boring and it's tedious, but you have to, but I will only say this, that'll make everybody feel better about this, because we're laughing, we can share, I mean, because we're remembering this.
Yeah.
Once you teach it, once you teach it, it's theirs forever. They can never play volleyball again and still remember rotation. So it is God's work, because I'm trying to empathize with some people.
Yeah.
I know it's hard. And I know you're just like, is this kid stupid or something? Right? You know,
it's hard. It's hard as an adult.
I'm saying,
it's
right?
hard as an adult.
Yeah, the kid's not stupid.
And then you go through different offensive systems, and then optimizing those systems. I mean, Long Beach Mizuno for a long time, middle would follow setter. And when I was just listen, I'm gonna be real. When I
played in Germany, my middle follows a setter. Yeah.
I was a middle. And I'm not saying that we're the most oblivious to understanding rotations, but I am saying there's a pattern there. And in my case, I started playing when I was 16. So when I was playing on a high level 17 and 18 team, they didn't teach any of those things because it was assumed that we already knew. So when I got to college and I was there and I didn't understand rotations. I didn't know who was front row. I kept reaching over and jumping, like jumping with a back row setter, and they were yelling at me, "Deanna, why are you jumping with a back row setter?" And I'm like, "I don't know that she's back row. I don't know." And they're like, "How do you not know this?" And I was like, "No one's ever taught me. I don't understand." And I felt so stupid. Because I don't know what happens behind me, right? And it was just because I was putting a lot of my energy and effort into the physical side, and also like it wasn't there until it was, and it was amazing when I could find two right, one left. When you can call out what's going on, oh my God, game changer, right?
It is, yeah.
And then when you go from playing to coaching and then having to figure out, okay, how do I explain this? How do I make this work? And then being able to iterate with it, right. and either go setter outside middle, setter middle outside, whatever. Yeah. Or you just have girls that you're like, 6 straight up, let's go.
God bless the person that invented rows too. A rose, all right? And on the East Coast, those they don't exist. And on the international scene, like there are certain teams that implement, and they just don't. They don't, like when I played in Germany, we don't do rows because people want to talk about numbers. Oh, the analytics and the stats, right? Like row 1 is the last rotation you want to start someone in, where I am, because statistically, by their own numbers, it's the most difficult rotation to side out from. It's 3 front row hitters, we get that, but if you look at the actual numbers, the most difficult rotation, multiple serve receives, no side outs, is in fact row 1. So
I love a row 2, row 3 start.
Yeah. So I got a lot of people I got bi-coastal love, so I'm gonna educate people on what rows are. Now, everyone knows what positions are in the court. Like position 1 is a server spot, and position 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is counterclockwise. That's against the clock, people. All right. So rows, row 1 is the same thing where the setter is in position 1. Now we're just thinking about a certain person, a position, the setter, where like the positions could be anywhere. So row 1 is where the setter is at the server spot. And when he rotates, he's at row 2. He's going to be middle back, whatever, and this and that. I don't mean to dumb it down.
No, I love it. I think this is great.
We took off. So row 3, of course, left back. Row 4, 5, and 6 is front, middle, and right front, and all the way back to the server spot. So what happens is, the cool thing about the club system out here is when you're teaching kids rotation, when they learn the rows, and as a coach, if you have to walk them through every play, you don't say you move over there and you feel like you got to go on the court and physically move them. You just say row 2. And if the kids studied it, and they'll make mistakes, but if you say 2, they're like, oh, boom, I'm here, boom. And I saw like some of the clubs that I was coaching against, he's like 2, 3, and I'm like, dude, that's God's work, man.
It's so funny. I haven't even worked on it yet. Listen, I've had 2 practices with this new team, and it was really funny because last night, during practice, one of the older girls, it was the first time we'd put like 6 on, right. Mostly because we hadn't had 6 there, and I wanted them to play 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5 before we went 6s. But we got a tournament coming up, and we got to start figuring out what we're doing. Yeah. And we're doing skill development stuff. So I got a plan. We're going to go work with it. Is the best plan? Debatable, but this is what I'm going with right now. Whatever. But last night, one of the girls asked me, she goes, are we going to like switch? And I had forgot because I've been doing 11s for so long.
Yeah.
Because for the last couple of years, my 11-year-olds, we have not needed to, nor like it hasn't been advantageous for us offensively to spend the time doing it. I told, of course I'm like, hey, this is going to change when you level up, when you go 12s, this is going to change. But for now, this is the offensive system that we're working with right now. And they understood. And I said, this is not forever. This is just what we're doing right now. Cause I had a team of outsides. I mean, I had a team of no positions, of 11-year-olds. Right. And I'm sorry, you got to do it all. I want everybody to pass that attacker. Right?
And I think at that age, they should do it all.
Exactly. But I've got this 11, 12 mixed group. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have older girls. Yes, we need offensive systems. Yes, we're doing it. But it was a really cool reminder that like they're ready for it and they're hungry for it and they're excited about it.
It's also a cool reminder for coaches that have an ego identity like mine is to listen, just listen and then see what works, right? Like God gave you 2 eyes, 2 ears and 1 mouth. That's like his way of saying you should look and listen before you talk, right? And I still struggle with that. When I moved here, like the whole row system, I'm telling my setter, Thunderbird out of Evolution, Redondo, all these kids are Redondo. Jackson.
You're literally in my phone as Jason Evolution.
There it is. Yeah. God bless Duncan Avery. He's the only person I actually went to and asked for a job. My entire coaching career, I have never come to them for the job. They've always come to me. He's the only guy, and I did so twice. But I'm like, you're going to start at position 3. He's like, so that's where? I said, it's front and middle. He's like, so that's row 5. And I'm like, no, it's position 3. He's like, but it's also row 5. I'm like, shut up. Just get up. Just go, right? And he's always trying to get me on the lingo. I'm like, coach, do I go type 1 or type 2 in the serve? And I'm just like, is this volleyball or is this diabetes?
Oh my God.
What? Just right? No, you serve. You know what it's called when I want you to serve tough and still go in. That's called pressure. Okay. So, but that took some humility to say, hey, whether I agree or not, this is what they understand. I'm new. And if I'm going to continue to coach, I have to put my ego aside and meld into this system. And when I did, I understood the value, and I don't like using the word genius or brilliant or whatever, but like in the classic sense of the word, whoever made this is brilliant.
I would agree.
Yeah. So vision or visualization, right? Yeah. I guess the best way I know how to start this conversation is to, of course, talk about myself. So here we go again. Some of the things I taught Caliani was something I call vision of visualization. So I would put a chair in the court. She's an OH. I put the chair, let's say I put the chair between 5 and 6, or in the corner, what we call the All-American.
Ooh, I love this combination of visualization and training. Right. I love this.
What we call the All-American. Let's just call it that corner.
Love it.
Out, OH, boom, right? So I'm like, do you see the chair? She's like, yes. I'm like, that's your vision. And I'm like, I put my hands over her eyes. I'm like, do you not see the chair now? She's like, no. Can you see it now? No. I'm like, that's your visualization. Do you know where it is again? She says, yes. So I'm like, vision, visualization. Vision, visualization. Vision, visualization. And the reason why I do that is because once they know what the spot looks like people move all the time, but does the spot stay the same?
Absolutely.
The answer is yes,
Gosh,
right?
I hope so.
So once you know what the spot looks like, that's your point. And if you, and in the game, if you have to make something we call adjustments, like let's say the double block's there, or let's say they're playing rotation defense where this girl's way over here and that girl's way in the corner now. Now you have something to veer from. And the reason why it's enjoyed success is because you're veering from something that's actually on the court. Where if you're like really up here and you're making those in-air decisions because you have a lot of experience, you might miss by 2 feet. But vision of visualization, you're always going to miss on the court unless you're not that good. Okay, I don't even want to use the S word. So that would be my example of how I apply visualization. Just a small example. And it's a teaching tool. And when you get like 100 reps, you know what happens? In a real game, their default, the shot that they're comfortable with, that they believe has success, where sometimes they're wrong, they might be right. The floor is yours.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it. One of the things I actually did this year with my new team, I've done it before, but I did it in a bigger group. Typically, I'll do it in smaller groups or with individual athletes.
Right.
But 11, 12-year-olds, we're talking serving. They got to be able to serve.
Yes.
Sorry, we can't play volleyball. We're not winning matches.
No.
We're not winning games unless you're serving over the net. All right.
Yeah, or you can win 25-0 if you win.
That's what I'm saying.
Take care of your serve.
It's a wild game,
yes.
Right?
12 is a cold world, man.
It is. It really is. You can have one girl serve 25 points, and then everybody's like, "I did so great today," and it's like, okay,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, that's your story.
Yeah, I love it. Ride that high.
Pretty girls look like this. Okay.
I love it. Right. But this season, I've been doing a lot outside of like private training and stuff like that, but bringing visualization into the court while we're training. And so with serving, having them like they were serving, tosses, not great, not consistent, terrible, not there. Tippy toes, hand contact, atrocious. As expected for somebody who's just learning how to serve for the first time, or at least, consistently. And I gave them cue words and different things. So I had them serve bad. So they had somewhere to start at least, right? So they knew, all right, this is where we're starting from. This is our base, right? And I give them a couple of cues here, here and there, right? All right, we're looking for this, we're looking for that, we're looking at that. These are the 3 things that I want, right? As they try, right? And having them all at the same time close their eyes and then go through each one of those. I want you to imagine holding the ball out in front of you. It's right in front of your right shoulder because all of them are right-handers. So making sure that their toss is right above their right shoulder. All right, can you feel your elbow? Is it in line or a little bit higher than your shoulder? Great, we love that, right? So just giving them different cue words.
Oh, I'm glad I'm recording this. This is my teaching tool right now.
Yes, I love this, right? So giving them these very small things. And I guess I'll start over too, because just in your feet, I want you to feel strong and confident exactly where you're standing right now. Look out at the court. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. You've done the serve 1,000 times. You're a pro at this, right? Imagine holding the ball. Feel the weight, right? Put your weight in your right leg. Look out. Take another deep breath. This serve, this one's going over the net. In fact, it's going exactly where you want it to go. Hold up that ball. Check your shoulder alignment. Get ready. Take another deep breath. Toss, step, contact. Right. Make sure you can see your hand contacting that ball. Feel your energy and momentum. So a lot of it around feeling, right? Feel your energy and momentum directing the ball exactly where you want to on the court. Now imagine watching it go the exact place that you want. I want you to feel the joy, the pride, the dedication, the discipline. Look over, see your parents. They definitely got it on video, so you can watch this highlight later because they care about that.
Right, we got an ESPN highlight right now. But go ahead.
For them, right?
It was your description in the music was just great.
Perfect, right? And so taking them through that, and we went through it several times, and each time it got better and better and better. And you can see their body language start to shift. You can see them like at first, they're like, this is stupid, this is lame. And I even told them, I was like, this might seem silly, but I promise you it's going to work. I was like, if you buy into this, it's going to work. And just working with that and talking, even when I'm giving feedback, a lot of times it's when they get the rep right, correct, or whatever we're focused on, it's, did you feel it? Can you replicate the feeling?
Can you do that 25 times?
Can you replicate the feeling? Don't think, replicate the feeling.
Right.
Replicate the feeling.
Right.
Where did you feel it on your hand? Where did you feel it in your feet? And really bringing awareness to these other, especially for the youth athletes. And I think it's great for professional athletes too, because where we direct our focus and attention, or where we direct our focus is where we're directing our attention. Where we put our attention is where our focus is being directed. And if we open this up to even a more interesting and a bigger topic, we have fractured attention like we have never seen. We have athletes that have, especially if we're talking even like 12 to 25, right? They've never known a world without a device, without a screen. They don't know what deep focus is because they haven't learned how to train it. I mean, obviously, we're getting better and better at doing that and creating those spaces so they can do that deep work. The average is about 20 minutes. It takes about 20 minutes to cognitively switch into the frequency of deep work. But yet our attention spans are being dominated, or at least being siphoned, I guess, is more predatory because it is, right? And part of athletics, we need to learn how to direct our energy and our attention. And part of that is being able to bring it back into our physical bodies, feel it, right? Because a lot of times we're thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. When we're scrolling, we're doing, we've got 1,000 tabs open in our brain and open loops. And if we're TikTok or scrolling or whatever, and we're not in there for a specific purpose, I typically only go on TikTok if I'm looking for something specific, because I'm like searching something and because I'm trying to find something. I
follow you on TikTok.
I am
and I don't follow. I'm a hater. I don't follow anyone.
Listen, I was really resistant to it for a long time, and in creating a lot of what I've spent my time on the last 3 years has been on creating the app. So in addition to the different books and everything, I have an app. In the app, there's a volleyball mental performance program. It's 29 weeks. Here we go. We're pitching now. Let's go. It's 29 weeks. It's freaking incredible. It has weekly volleyball mental performance skills. So it's like 3 to 5 minute videos. So it's just like, boom, mental performance skill video of the week. And then every week there's a different session that comes out, and we cover, and I say we, but it's me, right? But I cover 29 different topics, right? And I take you through each and every one of these, and they build on each other. So hopefully we're building skills. And that's why I created the workbook this year, is because I needed accountability. I needed something that they were actually putting into practice. Right. A lot of the feedback that I got the last 3 years is, this is great, but I don't know if the athletes are actually doing this, or they say they did it or watched it or listened to it, whatever, but I really don't know.
Well, here's what it looks like.
Oh, yeah. Let's throw that up there.
DJ, spin that.
Oh, hey. This year, I'll crush my goals. Everything will be perfect. But in reality, it's a roller coaster. You're going to train, you're going to get sore, you're going to clash with teammates, you're going to lose matches and question yourself, and then you're going to rise higher than before. That's the athlete journey. Ups and downs and all arounds. Now, every season is going to teach you something new if you pay attention. So instead of chasing perfection this season, chase progress. Reflect on what worked last year and what didn't, and what you're most excited about this season. Reflection is what turns experience into wisdom, and wisdom becomes a superpower for more wins.
Let's go.
Let's go. Speaking of the athlete journey, because we're about to start this club season. I mean, we're really excited. We talked earlier about CIF championship, and that's kind of like, as soon as that kind of finishes, that's what really
then we're going to be
legally kicks off our ability to go into club, right? But we have this whole club season, and it's long. And if we do, and one of the reasons why I created the app, the program, the books and everything, is because you can go to an inspirational, motivational talk, and that feels good, and we learn something, and hopefully we feel something, and we have a small little nugget that we take away from it, and it's great. But what are we doing consistently, right? Earlier, we talked about volleyball being 8% of your day, but it's the 92%, what you're doing during those 92%, that's really helping you amplify that 8%. So consistency, in addition to discipline and a lot of hard work, right? And hopefully smart work, right? That's another thing, a theme that we've been talking about, and something that I had to learn the hard way. Working smarter is really hard because you have to intellectualize, because you have to learn, and then you have to practice it, and then hopefully you get to mastery at some point, which all of us are always hopefully, whether we're coaching or playing, we're hopefully striving for that mastery, but we never really get there because there's always something new to learn. And I'm passionate about the athlete journey. I love learning. Vitality is one of my favorite things. I want to feel good in my body.
Jeez. I got to get you and Wendy Jones on at the same time, dude.
Ooh,
do you know Wendy?
I don't.
Oh, later. But for later. Footnote that.
Footnote, what? Yes. Yes, we will.
How the hell do you, go ahead, on this side, on the same side of the country.
Yes, let's do this. But with that being said, like, I'm pumped about just learning every day, right? We're on this earth for a purpose. Everybody has a different one. And we're here to kind of discover that. And we might as well do things that we like with people that we love, right? And we all have this different point of evolution. And at some point, you have to take personal responsibility. And that's how, drill sergeant, personal responsibility and discipline and consistency. But, we're all on these different journeys. And you get to figure out, what is going to be the best thing for you. And that's a lot of what I teach is that inner guidance system and learning how to hear it, learning how to listen to it, how to develop that intuition, because that's a huge part of it, right? Like, you're always going to be your best coach. You can have really great coaches, but at the end of the day, you are with you 24/7.
Yeah, that's what we said in the beginning, right?
365.
Right. One must participate in one's own salvation. Right?
You must. And I think it's part of the fun, right? Yeah. And I think when we ask why we play this game, volleyball is pure magic. It's so joyful.
Isn't it?
It's so much fun. One of the things that I love to do, and I haven't done it in a while, but I do it at least one time a season. And I want to invite people to do this. Coaches, parents, athletes, I want you to do this. Next time you are in any facility, I want you to close your eyes. And I just want you to listen to the cheers. I want you to listen to the whistles. I want you to listen with intention, because you can hear the passion. I might cry about it. You can hear the passion. You can hear the joy. This sport, even when you make an error, we're slapping booties and saying, you got the next one. This sport is absolutely magical, whether it's indoor, whether it's beach. This is, and the community of volleyball players, especially on the West Coast here, we're so lucky.
Right.
We have some of the best volleyball in the country.
It is the ultimate escapism, right? And then at some point, we're going to have a conversation about sustainability too. But planting the volley virus, no known cure, no vaccine for it. There's no medication. There's no, maybe it wanes on its own. Maybe it runs its course, right? And maybe you use it as an escapism. You can be yourself with like-minded individuals, and then you're almost sad you got to leave because unfortunately you got to go back to that world, right?
I have to be an adult.
Yeah, yeah.
I got to go adult.
Right. And on the juniors level, we as coaches, trainers, teachers, it's almost the ultimate sin to do or say anything that takes that away from them. Right? Again, I left evolution, but it was 100% participation rate. Like nobody didn't not want to go to practice. You as a coach should always take pride. Now, whether they're a losing team or winning team, you as a coach should always take pride in someone getting out of school and saying, like, I can't wait. I can't wait to go to practice. You as a coach should always say, all right, guys, practice is over. And everyone goes, oh, really? Just one more rep? Can we go, one more thing or whatever?
Come on, one more ball,
right?
One more ball, one more ball.
And I wish everybody that same level of happiness in whatever they do that's not volleyball, right? Like I think we might have had a conversation about having a job or a career, right?
Potentially.
When you have a career, you can't wait to go to work, and there's not enough time in the day to whatever. And whether you like it or hate it, or whether it's too much work, you're part of something that's all you or something bigger than you, right? But a job.
You want to know something really funny?
But a job, you look at the clock, you like, man, what the heck is wrong with this watch? What's wrong with my watch? I thought it just went backwards, But sorry, go ahead.
This memory just came flooding in as you said that. What's really funny is when I was playing Division I a long time ago, right? I remember I would get offended when anybody would ask my major.
Right. Because
the assumption is kinesiology. I'm like, no, I'm getting my master's in business, right? And, my senior year, lots of ankle injuries, shoulder was done. I could have played overseas. I didn't. We played in Italy. We went on our once every 4 years, you're allowed to go play in another country trip.
Let's go.
We played in Italy. I had some interest there. And at that point, I was like, I'm good. I'm going to go do triathlons instead and be an individual athlete, and just like do things that I enjoy doing. And I had played, I'd done one of those like play for quote, quote, USA, but not USA, in another country, and you go play money and you go to a great vacation place, right? Which was great. Right? Barbados was amazing for that. I enjoyed it a lot.
Barbados is fun.
And one of our coaches, she made the decision to start playing volleyball again at 23. And as like an 18, 19-year-old, I was like, oh my God, she's so old. And she stopped and she's starting again. Wow.
Let's go. Yeah.
But every time that somebody, and I made the decision, like, if I want to go back, if the opportunity is there for me, the universe is going to find a way to make it happen. But I specifically, when it came to finding a job and career exploration and all that stuff, I remember always saying, like, I'm more than volleyball. I can do other things than this. And like, there was almost like this chip on my shoulder of like proving that I can do something else, or proving that, oh, I'm going to go make money with my MBA, or, oh, I'm going to go be an entrepreneur because I have other creative skills other than just volleyball, and having
it's
this
called
like
being a female volleyball player.
Yeah, exactly.
Men don't get that.
It's so funny though, because I look back at it and my whole life is consumed by volleyball, whether it's coaching, reffing, or doing mental performance. So the thing that I literally was like, I'm running away, I can do something else, I'm more than a volleyball player. And that Kines degree would be very valuable right now. But
don't talk to me about majors.
But it's so funny that the thing that I was proving that I could do this other thing is literally the thing that brings me so much joy today. And the thing that brought me back, after college, I was a GA for a year, and I was like, F this. I do not want this job. No. I do not want to make $30,000. Oh my God, $30,000 to be an assistant coach somewhere? No. I want to be able to actually pay rent, right?
I'm straight.
No thanks, and just like, I'm going to prove I can do something other than volleyball. And, I went that route. I was, I did a couple of different things. I was in Texas. I even tried out. I even interviewed to be a firefighter. So I made it like 2 or 3 steps.
Oh, you would have been a heck of a firefighter.
And I was training for triathlons at that time, but that was just before I got hit by a car when I was running. Whole different story. We might segue there. But in that career confusion, I was trying to figure out, like, I was more looking at like more of like the entrepreneurial route, because I really enjoy the creative aspects, writing. I really enjoy the creative aspects, and I love the structure of business, and I like the impact that those creative endeavors can create. So it's kind of, it was really interesting when I went to go climb the corporate ladder in sales and technology when I moved home, right?
Do you have to say that with such disdain?
I do. It's fun. Because I was climbing the corporate ladder. So like when I came back and
sorry.
No, it's fun. It's fun. I love it. But I got my MBA, and I finished my MBA right in 2011. So it was like at the perfect time for people to pay you not a lot of money because the economy, right? So it was like right at that time. And I moved back to Southern California. So something was pulling me back. So I came back to Southern.
God help you.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I came home, lived with my parents, which was a great experience because my parents are way cooler than I am.
They're
honestly.
chill. Okay.
My parents are amazing.
Yep.
Our relationship is wonderful, and they're my biggest supporters and cheerleaders. They're
my wife's parents are mine.
My parents will adopt
so
you
jealous.
as long as you financially take care of yourself. You can be in our family too. So
of course.
We've always done that with our friends. But
yeah, no hippies, man. Everyone want to borrow your car, and come on, stop.
I love it.
No, sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, I was climbing the corporate ladder, and I was like, I don't want anything to do with volleyball anymore. I'm training for triathlons, right? And doing that thing. And I reached out to a friend that I went to high school with, and he was like, "Oh, you can come work at this company that I work for." Got a job there. It was cool. Was climbing the corporate ladder and learning about technology and like doing all the things. It was technology sales, so it was really interesting because there was a lot of growth, and like I'm a tech type person, and I'm pretty good at connecting with tech people. So
I need you, Deanna. Well, go ahead.
So it's fun, right? And like through that, my connection with volleyball, when I was a GA, we needed a statistician. And I'm not talking about a statistician that sits on the bench. I'm talking about like Microsoft DOS program, like Stat Crew, NCAA, like official stats.
Like live stats.
Like live stats, for sure.
Which requires a team, yeah.
Yeah. And so when I was a GA, I learned how to stat. So when I came back to Southern California, my connection to volleyball was strictly, I would go make extra money by statting. And so Chris McDermott, he's over at Whittier College. He's at Whittier College. I played with him while we were growing up. He's always been a good friend. And he was like, hey, do you know how to do stats? We need a statistician. So I was a statistician for them. But I also was, I would fill in at like Long Beach State and then at a lot of the junior colleges. So like my connection to volleyball during that time that I was like, no, volleyball was only doing, I was on the table, right? So I was like just an arm's reach away. I could still appreciate it. And I really enjoyed it because I was good at it and it kept me involved, but I could just live my life and have weekends off, because I didn't know what that was like, which was a wild feeling. And I still don't understand it now.
That's a Saturday thing.
I don't understand what weekends are. But with that.
What day is today? We don't even know, but go ahead.
Couldn't tell you. I'd have to check. But in that statistician, I had a couple of friends that started reaching out with me and they're like, oh, Deanna, do you want to come coach? And I was like, nope, sure don't. Absolutely not. I'm over here climbing the corporate ladder.
All right.
I'm busy. And then I had a friend who was like, oh, well, you have to come have dinner with me. I have practice right before. So just meet me at the school because we'll go right over. And he told me to be there in the middle of the practice. Like he lied to me. I thought we were going to meet at the end of his practice. He told me in the middle of his practice. So he's like, oh, we're still practicing. Come on, come inside, come check it out. And I was like, okay. So I like walk in and I go over there. This is at like Don Lugo in Chino Hills. And this is like 10 years ago. And he's like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. He's like, oh yeah, we're still practicing. Why don't you go work at the middles? And I was like, okay. Instantly fell back in love. Okay, fine. Started coaching as a utility coach. So because I was climbing the corporate ladder. So the only time I had was being a utility coach. And being a utility coach, I would work with 12s to the 18-year-olds and basically any of the athletes in that club that I wanted to, or and coming out of that, like that D1 mentality of like, right. I'm competitive. I want people who want to learn. I'm not here for everyone. I'm here, like it's that D1 mentality of we're here to work.
Social Darwinism. Yeah.
I want to take you from good to great. I want to take you from great to unstoppable, right? Whatever. I feel differently now, obviously. But in that, I was finding that the athletes were struggling with the exact same things. And this is like, however many years after I had played club volleyball, 12, 15 years, whatever it was. And they were still struggling with the exact same things. Yeah. Managing their energy, managing their time, confidence, training, nutrition, sleep, playing in the present, all the different things that we've talked about. It's the same story.
Wow.
And as I started seeing, okay, these girls are still struggling. Like what's out there that can help? And everything that I've read was like the super snooty, like sports psychology language that's like feels super sterile and it doesn't feel warm and it just feels like,
and it's exhausting.
This was meant in a lab, right. This was made in a lab and this is what the research shows. And if you do this, then, and it's just like, that's not geared
like
for
surrounded by these charlatans too, but go ahead.
That's not right for 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds. And that's why it's almost untouchable, right?
No.
And so that's why I started.
There's actually no study done on that.
Yeah.
Right? Don't you hate that when someone tells you studies show, and I'm just like, okay, what was the study on, right?
Well, studies show that.
Yeah, right? Like, huh? Right? It's like, okay, was it on men or women? It's women. Okay, was it D1 or D3, D2? Was it a 16-person sample size? No, it was 9. Was the study done in a month? No, it was 9 days, right?
But we have to try it.
Yeah, on 12s. On a different age group, in a different setting, under different demographics.
The studies show we must.
Because, just... I've gotten to the habit. You're gonna love this, because one of my big sins and what has been holding me back in all of my endeavors is I commit the biggest sin. Once you get a decent star power, the biggest sin is feeding the animals at the zoo. People are trolling you. Oh, you suck. Oh, this guy's trash. Answering these people, they win. And when you answer these people, they win. So what I'm doing now, because I'm a sadist, I post on Ghost. I have a post.
I'm so proud of you.
And you'll see me do that politically.
I'm so proud of you.
You'll see some of my political posts, and it has 83 comments, right? And
you read none of them? Or you read them, but you don't say anything?
Well, if I did, they would never know, right? What I'll do is I'll answer one to make everyone be like, oh my God, he read mine too, and he's not answering. No, it's great. So Volleyball Coaches and Trainers, the website, what's one thing you need to just remind yourself as a coach and this and that? Just this poor guy just needed a up, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, this, or you're not doing, you may not be doing this, you may not be doing that. And all I put was the real scientist, or us. That's all I put. And I left. Just went to town. Everyone went to town. Yeah, well, that means you're not appreciating the exercise physiology aspect of that. I'm like, and I'm just reading all of these comments and seeing who got it, seeing who defended my position, see who or whatever. And I'm like, you guys are incapable of solving real problems because you're hysterical about imaginary ones. All I put was the real scientists are us. And anyone that's been coaching on a short time at a competent level, or a long time where they got it, get it. We're in the labs. We're the ones with the test tubes. We're the ones shaking it. We're the ones doing journals. Like a lot of the coaches that are criticized that don't even do journals. So if you're not doing a journal, you're not writing down observations and doing a journal at night, how are you supposed to even support my assertion? Whether it's right or wrong. And I, in my ego identity, don't think I'm wrong. But all I said was the real scientists are us. And I didn't say the only scientists are us. I didn't say ignore every other study. All I just said was...
You have to put it into practice. You have to experiment.
But I read this guy's question. He needed me on this. And he needed to acknowledge his self-worth. Because... And I don't mean to spin it, but this is so important. The last 10 years, this whole appeal to authority...
let's play.
Arguments. This appeal to authority is a fallacy, my friend. Okay, this appeal to lived experience is a fallacy, and people have forgotten what their freaking role is. What is your job? What is her job? Like Ronda Rousey, just a few months ago, trashed every single commentator. Well, they don't understand it because they've never been in the cage. Like Joe Rogan's never been in the cage. He shouldn't even talk about it. And I'm like, you do know that Joe Rogan has two other guys, Dominic Cruz, who's a world champion, Daniel Cormier, who's a 2-division champion, and Joe Rogan's better at his job than both of those guys who have been in the cage. Why? Because they're two different occupations. I'm not dismissing a lived experience. I'm not dismissing, what did I say? Appealing to authority, right? Like if someone has been to the camps of Auschwitz, they might have a better memory or sense of feel of it, right? But then there's a guy who wrote a book about 4 different camps. He's probably going to be more of an authority on it because though he wasn't there, he referred to the people who have differences of opinions and he shaped it. That was useful for me to appreciate what happened then.
I think that speaks to the importance of each one of those things, right? Like we need people who are researching and doing quote unquote studies on whatever sample size. We need coaches that are trying stuff out and putting it into a practice for low level 12s, for high level 18s, right? Because those things are going to vary. I think. And I was kind of against this at first just because I don't like to waste my time on social media. Like I don't like mindlessly scrolling, but I really love spending time looking at volleyball camp drills or like fun drills and seeing how I can iterate on those. Because some of those things, and coaching's kind of like this in a way where you're almost mentored by whoever you've been coaching with. And so you only know, and your awareness is your own experience or what you've consumed. But having more access to and having more awareness of what's out there, and how can I actually make what I'm doing better, or how can I maybe change this in some way? How can I make this effective for this group or for this athlete? And any coach is going to tell you, you cannot coach the same across the board. You can have patterns, you can have expectations, but when it comes to the individual athletes, whether it's keywords for different techniques, right? I heard this used the other day, and I thought it was pretty funny. And I don't think I'll use it, but it might be fun for somebody else. But there's the whole like 6-7 thing. So he was teaching younger athletes how to serve, and he's like, do the 6 without the 7. So like 6 instead, and it clicked for that girl. It made sense for her. And it's like, it's so silly to us, right?
Well,
but it's like, 6, 7.
But
right?
6 might be like 60% of the serve, right? The toss.
Exactly. But at least this girl is now, because she was so excited about the 6, 7 and understanding it in that way, that now she was excited to serve and it made sense to her. So it's like that offhanded comment of like being cute with the way you explained something, and that athlete understanding it in that way deepened the knowledge and then created the drive for the skill development. That's crazy.
And humble yourselves. All right. Like when Texas lost in the semifinals a few years ago to Nebraska, there was a girl that played for Redondo High School, that little Samoan chick or Hawaiian chick whose jump serve would just shake the gods. She's out there and she's jump floating, right? And I just posted, I'm like, I would love to see this girl jump serve. And everybody's like, oh, so this guy who won, more than this guy, this kid from New York knows more than the guy who's won championships and this and that, right? I didn't want to get in an argument about like he had the best recruiting class and all this other stuff. Yeah. I'm just saying that, no, I'm only testifying to what I know. I know this person. I watched this girl play for Redondo High School for 2 years. I know what she can do. Mm-hmm. And if you watched Texas in the regular season, you've seen that jump serve change games. Now, if you want to have a nuanced argument that there are better, how could I say, a better forearm passing team than a hands passing team, right? If they're going against an angle passing team, which makes this float, more nuance. Or if you're like, or for another example of like you're a midline coach, right? Where in the classic sense of the word, midline means 2 moves. If it's going to take 2 moves or more to get to the serve, let's have that conversation. But don't be like, but don't give me this appeal to authority. Like there has to be this certain level where everyone's close enough, right? Mm-hmm. And it really, it's personal to me, because on another level, I got players who have podcasts, like pros that have podcasts, that are just flabbergasted that they don't have the same viewership. Oh, he's definitely paying for what? No, it's a different occupation. It's a different occupation. And when someone makes you do that, you know what they do? They create an echo chamber where them and only like-minded people can exist in. And if that works for them, cool. But will they get better? Maybe, but most likely maybe not. Will they learn something outside their bubble? No, the best they can do is take a needle and stab and let just enough air out of the bubble where it doesn't burst. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And if this is my way of saying they're jealous, whoever's listening, take that with you. Fine, whatever. No, you can't have someone that does 263 episodes. You roll up and make a podcast and think because you played that how about just text me and ask me, what's up? How do you do it? I'm talking to someone after this, right? About that. A player, a really good player, a fantastic player, a dynamic player, a player who all the fans should follow. But I only said that because maybe I'm using that as an excuse to spin off on my own little rant. But,
no, love it.
But
I'm here for it.
But it's personal to me because I think in order for us to have this whole grow the game thing, You can't be in this echo chamber. You can't say, I'm the most experienced here and everybody has to appeal to authority. That's not how you grow the game, right? And the reason why this podcast succeeds is because I practice what I freaking preach. Right?
Hell yeah.
I had Derek Bradford on yesterday. You two are in different volleyball walks of life. He's playing, he's on his way up, right? Had Dane Blanton on. You know, he's the only guy to win an Olympic gold medal, an NCAA championship as a player and a coach, and an AVP crown. No other player holds that distinction. And then I'll have Torrin Jeffries, who never even made the main draw. Do you know why? Because I believe that our stories, our volleyball journey, whether you use this as an escapism or whether your escapism becomes your career and you need to climb the corporate ladder, right?
I need to prove I can do something right? different than volleyball.
Isn't that where, but that's where that comes from,
Goes
right?
back to volleyball?
Well, yeah, but I think that the whole notion that only the best players have a story to tell, I reject that. We all have journeys that are all important. And
I'm going to advocate for some referees on this.
And it means something to someone who might be sharing the same journey with you. Now this might be a rare thing or like another unicorn. Maybe there's another unicorn out there that's doing what you're doing, because this is an original idea as far as I'm concerned, that wants to do this and they're listening to you and you're sharing your journey. Are they going to get that from Miss D-May? No. They're going to get something else valuable from Miss D-May. They ain't going to get what you're going to get. And this is why I did the podcast. This is the whole reason for people like you. It took 200 and something episodes for this to happen. But people like, or in 266, people like you are the reason why I'm doing this podcast. Now, my question to you is, are you avoiding this whole thing and trying to climb the corporate ladder? This is a personal question.
All right.
Did this generate from people not realizing your worth in that echo chamber or in that venue where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go where I'm wanted, or I'm gonna go where I'm gonna at least if I'm not appreciated, I'm gonna make a lot of money. Okay, give me this money. You're not gonna give me this respect. At least give me this money. A graduate assistant program. Kiss my Brooklyn butt.
You know what's really funny though is, this is really great. Now that I'm reflecting on it, it's really, really funny. All right. So I have my first corporate job, right? Technology sales. And because of my quote, quote, lack of experience, I finished my MBA program, didn't, other than athletics, didn't have like work experience. And where we were in the economy, there was a ton of people who were looking for jobs. So, those intro salaries were super low. So I actually started at, I think it was like 30,000. I think I started at like $30,000, and I was just like,
what year was that though?
2013 maybe. 2013.
Yeah,
2012,
right.
2013.
Yeah, that ain't doing that.
And
you're
so,
right. Yep.
and there's no way I could have paid for rent. Yeah, right. No. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I'll take care of you in retirement, right? So, like working away and being like, I'm going to get promoted and I'm going to work really hard to be a senior account executive, whatever the next step was. I'm going to be a senior account executive.
I just love the voice.
Well, I would go talk to these CTOs and systems administrators and people, and I would, it was really cool because it was like corporate technology. So I got to learn a lot on the tech side of different things, whether it was hardware, software services, and work with engineers to go and, whatever the project was. So tech projects were always really fun. And I was valued there. But it's sales. You eat what you kill, and it's I'm going to use this soup to nuts and cradle to grave, right? You handhold, you go and you create the lead, you communicate with said lead the entire time, you create and stir up those opportunities, and then you get the job done. And hopefully you're doing those simultaneously with multiple other things, and you're on a salary draw,
right? Which
means that you better hurry up, because if you don't make it, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to let you go, and then you can go to another tech company, because that's what ends up happening.
It's wild.
And in different companies, you had different specialties, whether it was whether the engineers that we were working with, or even like the prices too, because some of those are commoditized when it comes to like hardware, software, right? And then being able to build that all together, or just, preference on who you want to work with. Like, I like this guy, I don't like that guy. I had great experiences here, I didn't have great experiences there. So I didn't necessarily leave because I wasn't making money or because I wasn't valued. I left because I was following my passion.
Right.
I had several opportunities. The first corporate job that I had, my boss, who is an incredible boss, like absolutely love him, Pete Wittenberg, what's up? He's the best. He got poached by another company, and he went to this other company. After a month of being there, he said, "Hey, Deanna, why don't you come have lunch with me?" And I said, "Absolutely will." Went and had lunch with him, like more than doubled my salary like that, popped over. I was like, great. I'm in for this. I want to work for you. I want to learn. This is a great opportunity. This is the next step up. I'm great. Let's do it. And that's when I started coaching at that same time, when I was just a utility coach. That's when I started seeing that all of the things that these girls were struggling with, I had struggled with, and I wanted to create something that would help. Right? Whether that was a book, a program, of this or that. At that time, I didn't know what it was going to be. It wasn't even called The Winning Element. My first handle was like female athlete inspiration, because I didn't even know what I was going to do with it. And I knew I wanted to work with female athletes at that time, right? Because that's like, I have specialty in that arena, right?
Okay.
And so when I left, and in sales, when your manager gets fired, you know that you better hurry up and either be producing, or they're going to close down your branch. Because so we had some interesting corporate dynamics. Our headquarters was in San Diego. Our branch was in Irvine. And we had another branch in Long Beach, and then in Northern California. So that Irvine branch, I got hired, or my boss got hired, to go and turn it around and make it amazing. And I was one of his first hires to go make it amazing. After 6 months of trying to make it amazing, they decided from a corporate leadership perspective, because we were so close to San Diego, that they did not want to have a sales manager for that Irvine location, and they wanted to transition it to just a complete different corporate structure and how they were going to be executing our business, right? So there were several things at that time. I was coaching, and I started to see the writing on the wall too, of like, oh, I either need to go get another job, or like I need to hold out as long as I can.
Right.
And so because I was let go, and my branch was like dissolved. So with that, I was on unemployment for 3 months, 6 months, however long it was. I did some life stuff at the time. So went to Thailand, Korea. I had a friend in Korea. So I was in Southeast Asia for like a month, and I was taking this mental performance certification course. I was still like figuring out, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? How am I going to build this? Is it going to be YouTube? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? How am I going to do it? Blah, 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 blah. And it's not just how are you going to do it, but it's the tech stuff, like we'll talk about hardware later, because we were joking about it earlier, but to make your message get out there, or like, what are you going to create? Are you going to create an ebook? Oh, how are you going to make that happen? Okay, well, you need to be able to design. And I did a lot of design work. So everything that's on website, everything that's on everything, I literally do it myself. I mean, I've outsourced a couple of things here and there, but I really like the creative.
But go ahead. Sorry.
I got you. Mm-hmm. The creative aspects is something that I've always really enjoyed. Like, I find joy in design. I find joy in making things look and feel beautiful. I find joy in all of those different things. So with that, when I went on quote, quote, unemployment, and I was really deciding, all right, I'm going to bet on myself 100%. I had some money saved. Thank God, thank God, because I knew that I, at some point, and like almost every entrepreneur that starts like doing a side hustle, they're like, okay, when I make enough money out of my side hustle, I can quit my real job and I can do my passion, right? And it's like, that works for some people, but other people like myself, that wasn't the case. And I was able to take that time. I had saved up some money. And at that time it was like, all right, we're writing this book, we're doing this thing. I financed, like I did it all myself. Like I sent the first book, the original book and planner that I had, like I sent $30,000 of my own money to China to produce this book and planner. I bet on myself so hard, and then I got burnt out. And like,
oh man,
and effing,
well, you bet on China.
I did, and I was like, I pushed the $30,000 button, and I was like this, and I was like exhilarating, and also like, I hope this truck arrives. Yeah. Definitely bought the insurance on it, hopefully, but I'm like, does the insurance exist, right? And so like the day that the truck arrived, it was 12/12. It was my brother's birthday, and it's like a significant date for me because 12 is my favorite number. So it's like, it was my brother's birthday. This truck arrives to my house in Diamond Bar, California, and this truck, and then does the rollback, boxes of books, $30,000 of books and planners, all packaged beautifully. And then I had to move it into my house because I didn't realize like how many there were. Eventually,
storage.
Do you know how many times I moved these books? And like I said, I had this burnout right after I had spent all my money on product. I'd spent all my money on advertising. I'd spent all my money. I'd done all these things. I had gone so hard. I worked so hard. And then I burned out. I couldn't write emails. I felt like I had failed. Everyone that I went to talk to was like, oh, do you have a pilot study? Oh, is it this? Is it that? And it just like, it was one of those like entrepreneurial failure stories.
100%.
That followed me for like 4 years, and through COVID.
What?
2 years ago, I sold all of them, but I can't tell you how many times I moved those frickin' boxes and how many different storage units. And I need to find a picture of it because it's really interesting. But in my parents' house and like where I had my office and everything, okay. I want you to think like there was a pool table, and like we had like these two wood pieces that covered it. So It was like my office and everything, and all of these books all around me. So I'm like surrounded by failure or opportunity, depending on how you look at it, right? And for the first, the novelty of it wore off very quickly because it's like, man, I got to go sell these. Oh, like I paid this for it, but do you know how much they're worth? Oh my God, this has to get out there to all those athletes. And I really struggled with that, And in my maturity as an entrepreneur, in my maturity as a coach, in my maturity, in this journey, I had to go through a lot to get to this point where I'm creating with joy again, and where, my work is out there, hopefully making an impact. Why I do this is because I think that we're all on our own journeys, and, the support of that, and from an athletics standpoint or from a volleyball standpoint.
Do you think that's kind of like God's way of doing it though? Like, think about how you started on the more important part of your journey, right? In your life, you're going to have a whole series of journeys, and they're all like, I'm not going to be this egalitarian and say they're all equally valuable. That's nonsense.
There's ones that feel a heck of a lot better.
I was going to say, they're all equal valuable. I don't know what kind of ruler you measuring that with, but I got a ruler like this. I got a tape measure for this, so stop. But your inciting incident was the tech thing being dissolved that kind of said, hey, you ain't, all right, you got to do this. And once you're locked in, there's this determination where you won't be denied. That comes from that, right? Like, I get it. I worked in a cardiology practice,
and
17 years.
When you bet on yourself, it's one of the most exhilarating things. And it's also when you don't give yourself an excuse or a way out. It's like, I'm going to make this work, right? And it's that attitude of like, I am going to make this work. Yeah. I'm going to find a way. And it took a little bit longer for me to find the way and for it to financially be in a place where this is my career. I didn't leave like the corporate environment because I couldn't hack it or because I didn't want to be there. It was because I was following a passion and trying to make an impact. My original mission statement or vision statement or whatever very early was to revolutionize athlete development, because I always felt like the mental and the emotional component were never really prioritized or even talked about. I remember when I went to go get my MBA, and I was talking to my coach at the time, who was one of the youngest Division I coaches at that time. She was 23, I was 21, right? And she was the one who hired me to be a GA. I said, oh, I'm thinking about maybe getting my master's in sports psychology. Maybe I'd like it. And she goes, nah, don't go. And I was like, all right, MBA it is. and so even just her saying sports psychology is, sorry, right? Don't do it. I didn't even look into it. I didn't even know anything about it. And that's how impactful our coaches can be. And just having like that as a perspective, right? Where I went about it in a different way because I was training for triathlons and optimizing your mind, you know, the mental fortitude and the resilience to do that to do 4 hours of workouts, 6 hours of workouts every day and keep going to fuel your body for that type of pain, discipline, suffering. Just kidding. It's actually very joyful, right? I miss being able to do it, but being able to, you know, let's go back to when I started creating. Even though I wasn't making a ton of money, and even though I was living off of savings and trying to make it work, I was joyfully creating.
Yeah.
With the hope that one day this is going to help someone, this is going to be impactful. And now I get to finally see the fruits of those labors, right? And in reffing, when I got back from Korea, when I got back from, you know, being on unemployment or whatever, and like writing, you know, I was like, man, I got to find a way to eat, you know? So, yes. And that's when I actually started reffing like as a necessity because I needed to financially provide for myself. And then, like everything else, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. I actually stopped coaching for 3 or 4 years. I stopped coaching, and that was kind of like during the COVID time, or like through the COVID time too. But I started reffing out of necessity, and then I just absolutely fell in love with it. I went all in on reffing. And I was literally reffing like 7 days a week, anywhere I could. I would literally go do lines at like Cal Lutheran, which from Diamond Bar to Cal Lutheran is very far, for like $50 to go, you know, spend the whole day driving and commuting just so that I could get more reps, just so that I could be seen, just so that I could learn more, right? And taking, you know, that mastery into different things. And, you know, going from really enjoying reffing, and I have the pleasure of seeing you on the beach as well as indoor. It's always fun.
It is. It's great. Yeah.
And I love it. I absolutely love reffing. I think it's, and I'm sure.
I think you're great. I think you're great because when I'm in the match, I don't even know you're up there. And when someone doesn't know that's the best compliment. Yeah, and I'm not trying to speak for all refs, but I think you'll agree with me when I say if they don't know if you're up there, you're doing your job. Right. Yeah. And eventually,
or have the confidence of like, you know, I can only call what I see. You said it earlier. And,
that's the best
And
tip.
The intention, and I'll speak for a lot of referees on this. Mm-hmm. We go into every match wanting to do the absolute best that we possibly can. I want to ref my best match.
I'm so glad we're talking about reffing right now. But go ahead.
Because this game matters for whoever it is, right? Whether it's 12-year-olds, 18-year-olds, professional athletes. I want to ref my best game just as bad as you want to play your best game. I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm going to make a lot less errors than you, number one. Number two, I am literally here to serve everyone who's on the court and everybody who's around me. I'm not perfect, but I try really, really hard to be. I go home and I journal. I've had a couple of really interesting professional athlete conversations where we've had good debriefs after matches, definitely days later, where we've gotten to learn from each other in cool ways.
Yep.
You know, I deeply respect anybody who plays the sport at a professional level, and especially beach volleyball, because this is a labor of love. And, you know, if you're not out there getting sponsorships and everything, a lot of times, like, you're not getting paid to be here. You're here. You're here for the love of the game, and you're here to be a professional. And I deeply respect that. and even the 12-year-olds. They're there to have some fun too.
But your generation's awesome. Like the class of referees that have come through are exactly what the sport of indoor and beach volleyball needs. I'll just name names. I'll go Matt Laveau, right? Mm-hmm. I'll go Troy Gravitt.
Yes.
Right. I go you.
Magdalena. Renee.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like referees like that of that generational demographic. Renee is really, has she not put in the work? I mean, that girl works hard.
Yes, she does.
I remember I made a comment of her like totally missing a call, and everybody's like, "Oh, why are you getting over Renee? She's doing the best she can." Oh, look at, and I'm just like,
and that's the type of confidence that we want.
I'm like, no, Renee's gonna read the comment because we know each other, and she's gonna laugh, right? Because because she's at a point in her refereeing career where whatever I say, she knows I'm not trying to be a hater. It's one of those things like we get the joke.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like watching, like, listen, here's the good part about a ref. Again, like I said, if no one knows you're up there, you're doing your job, right? The number one rule in refereeing, we both already agree. If you don't see it, don't say it. And the 3 words as a coach, as a former player, and as a commentator and an MC, I'm all those things, have been a player. The 3 words I will always respect coming out of a referee's mouth is, I don't know. Like if let's say you're up there by yourself and you just have a down ref, right?
I love
and
that.
And there's no line judges.
I'll tell you a good story right now.
And there's
no
line judges. Sometimes a ball could be in or out. You look at the down ref is just like, you're on your own.
Hermosa Beach.
Yeah,
those posts. Hermosa Beach is posts.
Yeah.
Not like any other place. But
go ahead.
The posts are huge. If you are reffing professional men's high caliber volleyball from the floor.
Yeah, good luck.
From the floor without a ladder, with no down ref and nothing. You will not see everything. You can try. And in everything, our vision and the way that we see things
gets better as you ref, but go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. But you are always giving something up. You are there's always a trade-off, right? And we make calculated, split-second decisions on what to focus on, when to focus on it. So, for example, you're on the floor and you've got a blocker who's huge and you've got an attacker going up. How long do I linger at the net to see if there is a net fault versus being able to catch the line, right? When does your vision switch? There's always a trade-off, and it's highly situational. And that's why time and maturity in this profession is really important, because you're always making these trade-offs and understanding what you're paying attention to, when you're paying attention to, in addition to all of the other variables and factors that are all around us. It's difficult, but it's really fun. And to be good at it, you have to practice that a lot. And you're not going to, just like everything, you get good at what you practice, but you're never going to be perfect. But we're always striving to call the cleanest game. I don't say that we control a match. And I think that you'll find that the generation of referees that you're talking about now,
right.
And I will shout out a lot to our mentors. In Southern California, we have some of the best
right?
mentors. And that's trial and error too. Like I've been, and I don't say I've been given opportunities, but I have gotten opportunities that I am so incredibly grateful for. Did I have to rise to that moment? Absolutely.
Yes, of course.
And that's where training and preparation and all of those things come into play. But in the same breath, what we do is very difficult, and we train very hard. I can say that. We deeply care about what we do. We are not controlling matches out there, although sometimes it may feel like that. And I kind of think of myself as a referee. I think about, I am the orchestrator or I'm facilitating, right? I'm trying to steady the ship, and that's going to be different in every match, right? And in beach volleyball, we know that there is a lot of emotion, right? We play a physical sport, a mental sport, and a highly emotional sport. And that's one of the reasons why we love this sport so much and why it's so addictive. And it's super fun. And it's really awesome seeing these professional, I say professional athletes at all levels, but especially in beach volleyball, that you can be on the sand watching and just, wow.
Right.
I'm in awe.
I got a flashback of two of my favorite refs for two different reasons. All right, Matt Laveau, right? Now, in a game...
Controversial.
Well, in a game, a ref is going to have to make a call where one team's not happy. It's tight, and like, let's say both players hit the net. If it's simultaneous, fine, but one person hits the net first, what you see, and both players in their heart of hearts, they're not trying to cheat. They believe they're right.
Absolutely.
And you got to make a call. And the thing I liked about Matt is that he made a call. He made a call I didn't even really agree with myself. And the players just going off, down, how can you call it? This is whatever. And Matt, no yellow card, no red card. And he's got his shades on and he's just standing there and he's looking at him. And I'm trying to read Matt's mind. And this is what I think Matt's doing.
Good luck in there.
Okay, you're feeling a certain way and you got to let it out. And I'm going to give you a long leash, right? Because maybe when I go back to the 10 or whatever and look at it, maybe I was wrong. I'm going to and just do what you got to do. And just watching Matt watch this kid just do everything except roll on the sand. Like, like kids like roll on the sand. And you went through that with Rafi too, like Paulus. But just watching Matt just kind of not get upset, not be happy, just kind of be like... And I've met him and I've talked to him, so I'm trying to read his mind. And the way I was reading his mind was, do what you got to do. You're fan. When it's over, we still got a match to do, right? Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Okay. And the other one was indoor. There's a referee named Russell in New York, refs high school and college. Former player, came up. Made a lot of mistakes in the beginning and really kind of made him there was a small period where he was the show, but then as he just associated with other referees, I think he's one of the best right now. Russell, I hope you're listening and I hope you put up with me messing with you because I got a compliment too, right? The ability to hear an argument and change the call and not double down because you think if you change the call, people are not going to trust you or respect you, is one of the biggest challenges. This is the example. It's Hunter High School. I'm coaching Hunter High School. It's a playoff game, and we're playing Omar Vargas, who's for Brandeis, who's like this legend, and he's just coaching for fun. He's such a legend. He's coaching like Dominicans for fun. So there was a ball where there was an overpass. And my blocker took the ball, grabbed it, redirected it, threw it down, and hit the net on a follow-through. And he calls, so I go up, and I tell my captain, I'm like, ask him what the call is. And he's like, take your pick, right? Carry or net, right? So I said, Russ, please. I said, come here. And then I said something to my captain. My captain goes up to the ref, and he shakes his hand, and he gives me the ball. And the entire crowd loses their mind. What are you talking about? What's going on? This and that. And no one knew until the end of the game. Because there was a whole lot of yelling, but it was a home game. So, like the people visiting were losing their mind. They're Hunter High School, so they're just going to give it to them, right? And someone came up to me and was like, what did you tell your captain to tell the ref? I said, their setter jump set. And when he jump set, the overpass, once you jump set and you contact the ball above the net and you're a back row setter, and it doesn't matter if I carry it, it doesn't matter if I throw it, it doesn't matter if I hit it out, because the call before that is back row attack. And no one picked it up. No one, and I mean, I could have been like, hey, shut up. He's back row. Just shut up. Learn the rules, Yeah. I didn't. I was just enjoying.
What's the call?
The carnival of just watching everybody lose their mind, and Russell, who, after refereeing for a long time, took so many years to get to that, to just say, you're right. your ball was just great. So those are just two really good examples. But the first one's still my favorite. Just Matt, like, it was like John McEnroe. The ref is just like, do what you gotta do.
And sometimes
if he had a little mini violin.
I'm going to tell you, different players, indoor, beach, everybody's a little bit different.
Yep.
And it's fun and it's interesting because ideally we want to make the right call. We want to steady the ship, neutralize the energy, or just, do the right thing for the game, right? It's very difficult to do that. And your ability to do that, and sometimes you have to try something that you've never tried, or say something a different way, or not say anything. Sometimes that's the most powerful thing you can do, is just listen and say, okay, tweet. And every situation is different, but it's the trying all of the different, it's the trial and error. And there's sometimes you do something, you say something, and you go, that was not the right thing. And then you learn from it, right? And you try something different later, or, and just like the athletes adjust, officials learn to do it too. And it's always really fun when I get in those situations, because I'm always learning something. And I love, and the cadre and the crew that we have, I think we learn a lot from each other by talking about the different scenarios, whether they're rule-based or whether they're personality, or whether it's just you have these different options. You have different tools, you have different options. Which one are you going to choose? And was it effective? Was it strategic? Did it work how you thought it was going to? And I'll chalk that up to the mentorship that we have in this area. And we are so lucky. For all of the athletes, whether they're youth athletes, I mean, you can go to, you have Magdalena Gleaves, who is a highly rated international beach official.
Okay.
And she can ref juniors and still be just as happy, just as engaged.
It's how I know all these people, because they ref at all levels.
And so every match is a big match. We know that. And we try to give every match that focus, that intention, and try to get everything right, and then learn from the things that we don't.
And for the players out there, like, things are not what they seem when you see a ref and what you think they know, what you think they think they know. You know what I mean? Like, I remember, it's an NCAA game. I'm coaching City College, and we have an older ref, and he's kind of missing calls. He's on the top ref, and really the safest place for him to function is being a top ref, because he's got the line judges calling in and out, foot fault, antenna, all that stuff. You got the down ref calling back row attack, rotation, and this and that. Really, all he's got to do is watch the ball. And he's having a hard time watching the ball. And I'm listening to these kids like, oh my God, this guy's, he's trash. He doesn't know what he's doing, this and that. And then I'm actually outside, and I didn't say anything, but I'm outside. I run into him again. I'm like, come here for a second. I said, that ref you're talking about, you're right. I think he's having a hard time seeing in this and that, but I want to let you know that he's my mentor. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know he was my mentor. I'm like, no, this isn't about me. This guy taught me how to coach from the neck down. I have 3 mentors. He's one of them. Maybe not the central one, but one of them. And I told him, I said, I met this guy in Barcelona, Spain. And he comes up to me and he has a conversation about setting trajectory. And he said he saw me play on the Army European Championship, or like a military community team, told me to set. He said, you're 6'1", your wingspan 6'8", set. So the guy changed my position forever, because I was an OH. I was a lefty OH. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is in the middle of me just listening to this man's genius. He gets up in the middle of the sentence and walks away. And I'm just like, okay. But where he walks to, there's a bunch of guys that are like, 2 guys are like 6'11", one guy's 7 feet tall. Turns out he's the coach of the Netherlands. And the Netherlands won the silver medal in Barcelona. Then I do some research on it. Turns out he's an assistant coach for the Soviet Union in 1988 for the men. They won a silver medal. Turns out I go back to 1984. He's the assistant coach for the U.S. women's team, who also won a silver medal. And then in 96, eventually the Netherlands beat the Italians for the gold. So you're saying this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and you're right, he can't see. But like we said in the beginning of this podcast, just because you see where someone stands doesn't mean you know how they got there. True. This man won 3 silvers and a gold in a time period where the rules have changed so many times. Watching you, refs like you, and coaches like us try to evolve with rule changes. Because in 84, you could block a serve. They didn't know that, right? Yeah, play 3 on the gold medal round. Touch block by Craig Buck, Karch covers, and they run their play. It's ridiculous. Think about 2001 when the introduction of the libero happened, where let serve and rally happened at the same time. Thank God, because they offset each other. Where now first contact is double contact is legal. So now the referees are going to have to differentiate: is that a carry or is that a double? And do we have to remember that second and third hit is not protected? Which is, by the way, the same thing they're going through now with second hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remind everybody that third hit's not protected. And remind everybody that set over on 2 is not protected. So show some respect.
The evolution of this game has been, even in the time that I've been playing, coaching, reffing, all this.
His name is Mario Trivich. Sorry.
Oh.
Mario Trivich.
I love it.
Yeah.
The rule sets are different from high school to club to FIVB. They're all different in small ways.
Yes.
And that's part of it too.
What's FIVB as far as the double is concerned? Is it under the NCAA protection rule now?
I actually don't know, but I have an international official staying at my house tonight.
I respect her. She said she.
I'm not sure. I imagine that we're letting it go, or it was pretty loose in the first place.
Yeah.
But I can actually confirm tonight because I have an international indoor official staying at my house tonight. So
nice.
I'll talk to her later.
Yeah. I don't like the process and how that was done. You got 40% in a room saying we rigorously discussed this.
Okay, are you for it or against it? But you don't like how we got there?
I'm against it for a very big reason, but I'm going to
developmental.
There's that, but I'm against it because I don't trust the competency of this small few amount of people that claim they argue to the point of exhaust that determines the fate of hundreds of thousands of players.
Okay.
2. Once again, they're making a rule that does not affect the highest level. The highest level, people are not going to train their setters differently because of the rule change. Mm-hmm. The highest level, you don't even see the doubles anyway. And this exact same thing that happened in 2001 when they changed this. The highest level for men, they're going to use their forearm because the serves move so fast. You're only going to occasionally see a middle pass, a short one, maybe run a back one, I don't like it because what it does is it makes the referees lose focus on where the rule is not protected. Because this has happened in 2001. And I don't like it because, once again, the highest levels, no skin off their chest. The NCAA championships, you watch this year, are going to look like the ones the year before this rule, the year before that, and the year before that. Go back to 2001, go back to 1996 with the Cuban national team. It looks the same. It looks like bump set spike. The way people are teaching it, and the way people are developing it and understanding it is a whole new challenge that I don't think that all 40 of these people put into play. You have something you want to say about this?
I love this rule.
You said you love this rule, and you're going to tell me why in 30 seconds.
Okay. I love it because it makes our sport more dynamic and more creative.
How was it less dynamic before this rule?
The contacts that we would have called are no longer being called. So it's not necessarily about how perfect are those hands. It's about, did you deliver the ball to an attacker? It puts the importance on the play, not how you did it. How did you make it happen though? I want to see fast volleyball. I want to see creative volleyball. I want to see dynamic volleyball. I want to see aggressive volleyball. I want to see people getting it. I don't even care if this set's trash as long as I get to see a great swing and an incredible dig. I want rallies to be longer. And from a referee perspective, we have things that we call and don't call. So it's easier, although you will have some referees that are going to say that because it is what it is. And there are some matches where it's really difficult to set a through line for a match. And you hate for that to be the thing that makes an impact in a match. So from a referee perspective, it's nice to let that aspect go. From a spectator and a coaching perspective, coaches aren't going to be training trash sets. We're still going to be training footwork. We're still going to be training spots. We're still going to be focusing on those things. And when it's not perfect, we can still hit that.
I want to see.
You make lemons out of lemonade. All right.
I want to see
lemonade out of lemons, whatever it is.
I want to see a skill set that people that don't play the sport and people that other sports have to respect.
Okay. I can see that argument.
Like in baseball, to tag someone out, they're not going to change the rules and let someone run out of the baseline, and you have to chase him all the way to left and right field where he's safer out at the end.
Have you ever seen a parent do serve receive? Nobody. It's really difficult to step on the court. This sport is difficult, right? And I think just in the fact that in volleyball, we have so many different skills in addition to, and I always think about it kind of like a pyramid. We've got like the individual skills at the bottom, and then you have like positional skills that then feed into offense, defense, and then like team dynamic, and then it ends up at like flow at the top. But how we play this game, there's the individual skills, and then there's the positional skills that are on top of it, and then putting it all together in co-creation with 6 other people
But that's the conflicting forces, isn't it? You want the game to look easy enough where it attracts more people, but at the same time, it's supposed to look like a sport and not a game.
Okay.
Look, I'm not going to go on a basketball court, dribble the ball, catch it. And while I'm catching it, run 15 feet and then start dribbling again. When someone says that's a travel, I'm like, we're not playing technical basketball here. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful to the game. Thinking I could just roll up and it's easy. And there has to be, at what point, like there's some rules, I'm just glad for safety reasons, they smartened up and walked it back. Remember the year where the bottom of the net was legal, but the top wasn't?
Oh, yeah.
Do they understand that's a protection thing? Do they understand that under the net, as long as it doesn't interfere to play, it's not a protection thing? It's like, hey, coach, I got good news for you. You got the call, but the bad news is you just lost your player for the rest of the season, right? So to me, this gets a pass because this doesn't not protect the players. And this is why I didn't kick up too much of a fuss about it. But I don't want everybody to pretend that it's great for the game for every other reason that people say that it's not. And again, go watch NCAA tonight. Go watch the CUNY Division III. They're fine. You're not going to see it because at the competitive level, not the level where we're trying to teach people how to do it right.
Fair.
At the competitive level, they're fine.
But I think
what changes? They're not going. You're not going to get a double call anyway.
Fair, but the coaches aren't going to change the way that they're already training their athletes.
The better coaches aren't.
And I think developmentally too, I don't think it serves us to train poor, sloppy hand setting.
Why? If it's legal, why not? It's legal.
But you're not going to. But you're not specifically training that skill. You're not like, you know what? Just get your
hands
on it.
Here's the best way. Okay.
Let's just put it in this.
Right.
If as long as you get it in the little hole in the little basket, because we're just training. Getting the ball there.
Right.
No. There's so many things that go into what running, getting your feet there, okay, and then getting.
But let's find something between this false dichotomy, okay?
Okay.
Somewhere between the ball, setting the ball where everyone gets all uptight because it turned like a half, and all the way over here, it's like it's all legal. Let's just this is Chuck City.
Listen,
it's
there's some ugly balls
in the middle
there is.
Where I want to see people play volleyball like mammals. Okay.
Yes. You know what? I will give it to even even with the rule being how it is now, with my whistle, I'm still going, ew.
Yes.
Ick.
Yep.
Ugh. Right? And I think the athletes, pick any age, that are cognitively on board and intentionally training the sport, right? They know when they have an ick set. And they're not like, oh, let me do that again. Or like, it's instant feedback when we go, ooh.
DEANNA, we are like-minded individuals, right?
You know, like,
yes.
People, we're not going to be like, oh, I aspire to have the ugliest, most accurate sets here. Like, no, we're not doing that.
Right.
Although I think that might be really fun. At one point, NCAA, we had done like a preseason thing where one of the things we were supposed to be doing, or like that we were asked to do, even though it wasn't like a number one thing that we were doing.
This is going to be great for the old schoolers. Yeah. Oh, actually, YouTube does this balloon thing when I put two thumbs up.
Does it do the heart? Does it do the heart too?
The fireworks.
Oh, love a firework. Does it do a heart if you make a heart hands for YouTube? You need work on that heart hands. Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, okay. It did it. All right,
even though it wasn't a regulation heart.
That's how you're gonna have the heart coming from your mouth.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that this rule change is awesome. Obviously it's not going away right now, but at the beginning of the season, this was maybe last spring or the spring prior to the rule going into effect. So it was probably like 2 falls ago. They asked us to, in our mind as referees, keep a tally in our mind of what would we have called a double? Did they score or did the rally continue? Right? So they like the data, and I don't know what the official data is because I've never really looked at it, and I'm like busy with other things.
I don't even think that people that saw the data looked at the data. They didn't look at the sample size. They didn't look They didn't look at the variables.
I can't speak to that, but I do know that there was that we were looking at those things, or that I say we
with who though? What school? What season? They're just going to say the data.
Couldn't tell you. I know that NCAA looked at it for NCAA purposes, and I think it might have been a trickle down, but I can't be sure because I'm just not in a place to speak definitively on it. Right. I do know though that we did go through, and the conversation, like it had been proposed several years earlier, and almost every year they've talked about it, and then finally got traction in the last couple of years of making the serious rule change
by a small governing body.
Yes.
Sure.
I'm here for it. I blow the whistle.
We are like-minded personalities, and we don't even agree on that. I mean, give me a break. But I don't know if guys, I am not carrying the water for old school, okay? We don't like me, and they don't like me, and I don't like them, except Hanneman. And lately, Tim Hovland's been pretty cool.
I want dynamic rallies. I want big swings. I want big digs. And I want volleyball.
Right.
And even if that's sloppy 13 wow,
right,
I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah, sure. I want respect for the sport. Like, look, even in the NBA, it's gotten lax. I've seen LeBron like check a ball in, and kind of before he even dribbled the ball the first time, I'm like, the referee just missed that. He's walking it with one hand and then finally starts dribbling. I'm just like, okay, you just missed that, right? There's a Euro step. There are things, like you said, that people want to make the game more dynamic and more fun to watch, that the purist of that sport are just going, oh, God, here we go again.
It's really interesting.
Here we go again, dude. You know?
I agree with you on that. Like, everything that has come down as far as like there's a governing body that is trying to, in whatever way, make it more of a spectator friendly sport, which is an interesting,
which is inconsistent with the ratings. Because before this rule, Nebraska was, I'm not saying correlation's causation here, but before this asinine rule, Nebraska sold out an outdoor stadium. So this is an agenda that they had for years that they finally got what they wanted because someone in their ego identity insists. Because they can't tell me we were getting hammered in viewership before this asinine change. You can't. Nobody can. We were. In fact, women's volleyball is right now, or before, at least then, was ranked third in viewership by all of the Big Ten network, Longhorn network. They were ranked third only behind men's basketball and men's football. Did they think allowing the Chuck was going to put us in second? No, they didn't. They did it because they were hell-bent on it and they got what they wanted. Bravo. Congratulations. 8-8. 8-8. Yeah.
And even in international
Sorry, that was just a rant.
No, I'm here for it. I'm here for a
rant. You're a ref. Come on.
I'm here for a rant. The rules are the rules.
A month ago, my rant was significant. But a month ago, what you had to go through a month ago, this rant was significantly tame compared. And just like Matt Laveau, you're just like, dude, you got
do what you gotta do. Listen, I'm entertained just as much. I am here for it. I love a show. That's one of the reasons why you kind of have to have this. It's almost like a grounding and a relaxing into what we're doing. We are playing a fun, intense game that people are emotionally driven by. This is entertainment.
Even now, just talking about it.
We do this for fun.
Even talking about it.
For joy. Mm-hmm. Even as a referee.
I mean, not all the time.
Like, I really do find joy in the matches that I get to officiate.
What's love-hate, isn't it? Look, if you competed at
long
this
days
sport,
are long days, but
if you in your volleyball career, and you play D1, if you're in your volleyball career and have never at one point hated this sport, you'd never competed hard enough.
I agree with that.
You never competed hard enough.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not here to straw man fallacy your overall broad righteous point. You are right.
I love it.
You are right. You are righteous, and your point is right. You know,
it's not going. It's now trickled. This rule particularly has trickled down to now the USA side of things, so the youth side. Mm-hmm. It'll be the first season that we do it, so it'll be interesting to see the feedback that we get and like what we think is going to happen versus what is actually happening. Feedback from coaches in terms of development, in terms of, and we're not even going to see the real effects, I think, until these youth athletes go to NCAA or go further or whatever. And to your point, at that point, it really doesn't matter anyway, right? So it's interesting to see how this is going to develop, and I think it's like short term, long term.
Yeah. I think it'll work out okay.
I think it's net benefit, and then they're going to find another rule that we're going to be like, I can't believe it. Oh, whatever it is.
Are we the only sport that's making these drastic changes, though? Like, I mean,
I live, eat,
are we
breathe,
the only
sleep,
sport?
volleyball. I don't know any other sports.
Here are two things you need to. Yeah,
I don't know any other sports.
Well, I grew up playing the big three, so I had to.
I'm volleyball 7 days a week, so I have like my focus and my attention is normally on the matches that I'm officiating.
Yes, I'm with you.
And where I'm at. So it's
look at this studio, girl.
It's amazing.
Do you see anything in this thing that's high or bocce ball? No. Look at this studio, young lady.
I always learn so much from you because
do I need
you
to
have your eyes
show
on
the
so
audience
many
the camera? Do I need the camera this room? Sorry, go ahead.
I always learn so much from you because your exposure and like the matches that you watch, commentate on, and even when mostly the conversations that we have, because I always truly value our conversations.
I took the year off from coaching, so I'm
and it's fun, right?
I only coached once
you'll tell me, a story about this player, this team, this thing, and I'm like, oh my God, I love that. Yes, and I get so excited, and I'm like, man, I wish I could watch that match, but I have this other match that I have to work, and that's kind of the obsession. And I think that's kind of the definition of volleyball magic, right?
It really is.
We are obsessed with the sport, hopefully in a healthy way. Yep. And we've created our lives, or at least we've been able to take our talents, our gifts, and really give back, serve, and also learn alongside, I think, you called me an expert at the beginning of this.
Well,
And I think the only
if you're not an expert, no, but if you're not, I don't know what the hell is. What's an expert if you're not? Who's the expert if you're not? Oh, wait.
Wow. Thank you. I think I'd like to change the definition of expert, because I think experts are always learning. And I think that's the difference. It's the dedication to continuously learning and evolving.
So okay. So my dichotomy is, by that rationale, we call you an expert, or we just get rid of the term. The term doesn't exist. Just say it does. No, because when it comes
Coach Deanna is an expert in volleyball mental performance.
No, but Deanna, when it comes to other people, they can call them experts, but they can't call you an expert when you have learned, excelled, and now teach in your wheelhouse. That is an expert.
Thank you.
I mean, what's the criteria? You have to work for a certain good old boys club to be called an expert? No. Where's my camera? No. No, but I would like you to look out for two things. For this doubles thing, a double hit thing.
Yeah.
Because I have some experience of the feedback from the original rule change to first contact being double. Mm-hmm. One, there's going to be a conversation about referees differentiating what's a carry or a double.
I mean, that's what it is ultimately
coming down to. So someone's doing this with
Yep.
both hands to set a four ball this way. Now we have to, is that a double? Is that protected, or is that just a chuck? Because the rules say you're not allowed to carry, hold, carry, or throw the ball, right? Mm-hmm. And what I just showed you, that was all three, a combination of all three. And the second thing I'd like you to look out for is referees need to be mindful of when double hit's not protected. If you're making a rule saying if they go over on two and it's not protected, you got to call it a double. Or someone's going back and they want to keep the ball in play, and that's a double. Under the rules, that's not protected. Which, by the way, I can make a stronger argument to let that go and let people play than the second hit. Like I would, if I'm a rule maker, I'd protect the heck out of double for third contact. Keep the ball. If that's their rationale, come with that same energy.
Keep the ball flying.
No, be who you are. Because if they're saying they're doing that because of that, mm-hmm. My argument is, it's better to protect or unprotect third hit than second. Because third keeps the game going. Third keeps the game exciting. Third, that guy might have made a dynamic play, or third, he might have put it in the spot where the other defense had a hard time getting it. So, mm-hmm. So I'm not against changing the rules, but I'm against their rationale why. Oh, it speeds up the game. Which is the reason why this for mm-hmm. first hit, Al Skates at the time probably had two marbles rolling around in his head, said it was a great idea, but because he's a legend, everybody's like, hold on, let me do it again for YouTube. You get my fireworks? Yeah, let's go. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm done.
I think we are.
I'm done with my
rant.
We
are seeing.
Yeah.
At least in our cadre, those are things that we're having a lot of conversations about. Is the caught thrown ball, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. The caught ball, the thrown ball, and the power tips. Those are our two points of emphasis and hot topics. That's
great.
I mean, you get away as soon as coaches can relax about
right.
this, then they want this,
right?
And and everything else, right? There's always going to be something, and the power tip, right? And that's where, it's also a caught ball, but
yeah,
it's the power tips that, and we're starting to see a lot more in men's volleyball where, blockers are putting their hands down, they're extending those contacts for
right.
a long time.
Yeah.
And so
I look
forward to seeing where we go from here with that, because I do think there's a line on that, right? With the caught thrown. In the men's game, it's super fast, and we're seeing it a lot. And as a cadre, one of the things that I really respect about the volleyball community, or I guess like the officiating community, is, we do work, especially on the NCAA side or the PAVO side, they do work really hard to find that like consensus and then distribute that information. Our assigners and our conference coordinators send out videos every single week, and it's like you make the call. And then we have a discussion about it.
Yep.
And then we have all of these different clips from the week. that that will have little things on there. So, I mean, we've got an officiating cadre throughout the country who are getting and disseminating
pretty good.
Yeah.
We're trying. You guys are doing the darn thing, man.
We're working
You never
really
heard me
hard.
cry. Look, you've seen 260 episodes. You never once heard me cry about a ref. I mean, you guys are doing the darn thing. And the generation of people, I don't mean to be ageist about it because we respect us. I'm Dave Carson, you know. But God bless you, Dave. I know you had a little bout with cancer or whatever and this and that. John, of course, we love us some John, so we love the generation before that. But they got to be proud of who they're passing the baton to, you know. And as long as y'all do your job, I'm gonna do my job and hold their feet to the fire on not just the rule changes, but the rationale behind it. Because every single rationale was it speeds up the game and it's exciting. It's their default, their one-stop shop excuse on why they want to change rules. They got to do better than that. They got to do better than it excites the game. And some guys speaking up from a high place and everybody feels like that they have to follow them like minions. Okay? The guy's not Gru. This isn't Despicable Me. This is volleyball and beach volleyball. Let's get some real work done. And I congratulate you on the fantastic work you've been doing. At some point you got to come back because we covered in our genius, we covered the choice, the challenge, and the journey. Fantastic job. What you've done unwittingly or not was cover aspects of the winning element. Either you did and I didn't know about it and you're just a genius. I'm just like, okay. I thought I was driving, but she was doing it the whole time.
We've been weaving together.
Yes, that's right.
It's been an
come on in, the water's fine.
You know, you said you wanted to dance and here we are dancing.
Yes. Well, to quote Storm Large, come on in, the water's fine. And we won't say the rest of that. That's the song called 8 Miles Wide, which maybe you've heard.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, I'll play it after this. You're going to have the giggles. So I want Wendy Jones to come back on with you because she is a growth mindset person. She's one of those people that are with packing light, packing with the right gear and embracing the journey. So that's kind of her jam too. She's an expert at that. You know, I'm what you would call an almost expert at all of these things, but me, when I have a conversation that breaches that expertise, I just got to say, hey, look, I don't know, but I have an opinion. Or I got to have someone like you on that just makes our audience appreciate what we were doing.
I love it.
Is there anything you'd like to say before we leave? We almost hit 3 hours.
Heck yeah, I love it. We could talk forever, and we already knew that going in.
Yes.
Which is why it's taken its time to... divine timing for sure.
You gotta have. I'll even tech that show. I mean, I'll be the host or whatever, but you gotta. I mean, there's so many people I think you would like. Aaron Wexler is like an inspired.
Oh yeah,
he and I
have been trying again. Another individual that I know when we get in a room together, we're going to be there for a long time, and magic is going to happen.
Yeah.
I think the last thing I want to end on is. Thank you, number one. And also for the volleyball community, that whether you're 12 years old, whether you're 25, whether you're a parent, a coach, or an athlete, check out all of the different things that I have to offer. A lot of my stuff is free on the Winning Element app. You can download it it's easy to find, the Winning Element app. I'm very followable and findable at all the different places. The Winning Element, the website is betheWinningElement.com. And we're about to kick off the volleyball mental performance program. It's mostly for indoor players, but I'm sure beach players would enjoy it as well. It's 29 weeks, but honestly, you could jump in and tackle any of the different things. The workbook is brand new.
I read that one.
Yeah.
Well, it reads like a novel, and I'm not one of these avid readers, but I read almost to the end. I read that first one.
It's really easy. It's an easy read.
It does.
The first book that I wrote, The Winning Element, super easy to read. It's really great you can pick it up, and if you want to work on recovery, you go to that recovery section and boom, there's a ton of different strategies and different things that you can learn, whether you're a parent, coach, or athlete. When it comes to the volleyball mental performance workbook, that is it. Like, there are reflections, there are worksheets. It goes along with everything that's in the app. Those videos are cool. There's volleyball visualizations, there's volleyball meditations. There's a ton of really great stuff in there. Lots of stuff for free, lots of stuff that you can purchase and help me continue to support my awesome volleyball career and everything that I'm doing.
I'm actually impressed. I'm impressed that it's easy to read, one, and it can reverse some things and it can help people improve. And sustainability is the key. We had a brief discussion about that. It's just, taking what you do well and doing it all the time. It's a one-stop shop.
Nice. Thank you so much. This has been great.
Cool, man. All right. So where am I? Oh, I got to go to the end. So Deanna might love you guys, but I don't love any of you guys. In fact, I can't stand you. In fact, I'm out of here. So for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPads or Droids, does that even still exist?
I don't know. I think
right?
they call it Google
For all
now.
of you on your desktop, who runs the world? That's us. That's me. Old school, baby. Old school. This is DEANNA Schneyer. I, Jason DeBeas. This is the Option Podcast. She says bye. I say bye. And stay with me. I'm going to hit my music, but we are out of here. Later, guys. Come check out the Option Podcast on optionvb.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.